What's up, everyone? It's me, NeemaNaz, back with another episode of A Stupid Neema, episode 7. I got a special guest today. He's all the way from Ethiopia, but he's all the way also from Australia. He's a star of the Ethiopian and Still Not Hungry tour that goes all over the world, all over the fringe festivals. And he's here today. He's a good friend of mine. He's the first person I met in Perth, Australia, the first time I was here. Give it up for Joe White, everyone.
Yes. What an introduction. Thank you so much, Neema.
No worries.
Honestly, I believed everything until you said good friend.
Freaking asshole.
I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Yo, one of your videos just went viral. ASL interpreter on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this, huh?
Well,
How do you feel about this?
Like, I've signed one autograph so far, and it was a parking fine that I got, and I had to sign off on it. That's crazy. You know what? It's like I've been trying for probably almost a decade now to try and get viral videos, and the most I've had is 800k views, and it was the joke about my name, right? And then I've had videos crack 400k, 500k, but nothing over 1 million. And then this one here, across all the platforms, over 10 million views. So
wow.
6.3 and still going up on Instagram, 6.3 mil.
Unreal.
3.1 mil on Facebook, just about to crack 1 mil on TikTok, and then 10k on YouTube.
Pretty good.
YouTube's a bit slow. But you know what I mean? It was just insane. And the joke has always been delivered the same. The only thing that's different this time is the ASL translator.
Yeah.
And she just, made it 20 times better the way she was acting the whole joke out.
Yeah.
Even I watch it back and I start laughing because I'm like, I can't believe how good she is.
It's wild, right?
Yeah. Everyone.
What does ASL stand for?
Asshole. That's what. No. ASL is American Sign Language. But here's the thing. Here's what I learned through that whole ordeal. So it's been great awareness for sign language, I would say so, because ASL is not what we have in Australia. So in Australia, it's called Auslan.
Auslan?
Auslan. In America, it's called ASL.
Yeah.
So here, it's Australian Sign Language is Auslan.
Yeah.
In America, American Sign Language is ASL.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's there's a little bit of difference in it in terms of, I think, how they signal,
right,
and how they interpret things. Also, there's another one, British Sign Language. That's also slightly different. But, you know, they all have a lot of similarities, but they also have little differences. So that's how you're able to differentiate between Auslan, ASL, and British Sign Language, BSL, right? And I learnt this through the discussion because I put ASL, funniest ASL translator. And the comments were like, she's an interpreter. She's not a translator. I'm like, it's the same thing.
Same shit.
But they're like, it's not ASL, it's Auslan because this is in Australia.
Yeah.
And
aren't you happy I told you how to write captions on the screen? Huh? Am I not the reason why this happened?
You are 100% the reason this has gone viral. You, the lady, Paula, her name was, the Auslan translator, Paula, the booker, but also Ronan, the booker, mainly because like as soon as this was so we had the Perth Fringe Festival and then you've got the Bunbury Fringe Festival. And so we got there and there's about 200 people in the room and I'm going up to perform first act up. So I'm about to go up or waiting to go up, like literally 30 seconds maybe. And I see this Auslan translator while the MC is talking, she's translating. She's so funny. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, get the cameras ready.
Yeah. Turn that shit on.
I was like, get my phone. We got to record this. Something magical is going to happen.
Who were you with when you, to record your video?
Ronan.
Oh, like he's the booker of the show?
So he's the booker of the show. So I got my phone and I'm trying to run around, position my phone, trying to give it to the missus to hold the phone. But then I saw Ronan there with his giant camera and I said, are you recording the set? He goes, yeah, I'll record it and I'll give it to you. And I was like, yes. So when I got on stage, I'm like, I'm going to do my thing, but at the same time, I'm going to have fun with this Auslan translator on stage. So I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel it. You know when you know it? I'm like, something magical is going to happen. And buddy, over 10 million views.
Not bad, eh?
She just messaged, I saw her comment on one of the posts, and she's like, "Oh, I just got a comedy gig to go and translate it."
Oh.
So she's getting work out of it as well, which is great.
That's amazing. Did you, when you went up on stage?
Yeah.
Were you going into it thinking I'm gonna fuck with this lady or like incorporate her into your set?
100%.
Like right off the bat, or you just kind of like
Right off the
you were
bat.
open to it, but you know.
No, I was open to it, but also like I just knew I'm gonna have fun with her, because like there's no way. There was probably about 5 comedians on that night, and every single one of us had fun with her on stage, and the audience reaction was like monstrous laughs,
Roarous.
you know?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, it's like you read the room, you know? If you're doing a joke and it gets a laugh, great. If I speak to someone on stage or if I speak to someone sitting down and it gets a bigger laugh, then instantly as a comedian, what are you thinking? The audience like this path, I'm going to take this path a bit more. And so you try to speak to the person, crowd work a bit more. So with her, I noticed when I was doing my stuff, yeah, it was funny. But then when I turned around and looked at her and she was impersonating one of the acts and she was like bending and doing all this funny stuff, touch her, all this funny stuff. And I looked at her and I started laughing because I thought that was funny. And from that, when I started laughing, the audience was losing it as well. And I went, okay, so they enjoy this interaction. So I just digged in deep, you know, and just crowd worked with her. Like it's I don't know how to explain it, but you had to be in the room. It was just magical, you know.
Were you first? on the show?
First act up after the MC
Oh, so you think that might have helped you in a way?
when I was watching.
Because you were first.
Yeah,
Like for the video, I'm saying, because it's like, it's almost so new that you're messing with the
Yeah.
interpreter
yeah,
that like the audience is loving it.
yeah.
Right? Maybe if you were last, it wouldn't have been such a good clip.
True. But also it's like the MC was up before me doing 10, 15 minutes. So he could have had all the fun with her
But
and the
he didn't,
audience.
though.
But he didn't.
Exactly.
So the thing is, because he didn't, that was a missed opportunity. So I was like, all right, let's do it, you know?
Smart.
And he sort of did. He had a little bit, but not too much, to the point where the audience was like, okay, I think you've done enough now, do jokes. But he just did a little bit, and that was good for me to. And this is why it's important to watch, because that was like, I watched that little bit of interaction and I went, there's more there. And so when I got on stage, I'm like, I'm going to dig deep and have fun, you know?
Yeah.
And so just dig deep, man, and had fun with her. And buddy, now I know how to do hung like an elephant in sign language, which is hitting the floor and then just doing this. That was hung like an elephant.
That's crazy.
Dude, you got to watch it if you
I
haven't.
know, I've watched it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially you've been posting fucking 30 different versions of the video too.
Yeah, because it's a 15-minute set, so I'm chopping it up and posting
Just
it.
the whole thing. Wait, even with your material in it?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, man. Like, people always say don't post your material, because when they come to watch you live and if they hear the same things, you know, they're not going to come back, or it's not going to be a good show, you're going to bomb. That's what people keep saying, right? But then I'm listening to a few interviews by like Trevor Noah and a few other big comedians, and a lot of the message and the feedback is there's more people seeing you online than in person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So just put your shit up and let people see it, fall in love with it, and then come to your live shows, and then work twice as hard, write new material, you know?
Really?
You know that with the success you've acquired, you know, from working so hard, it doesn't get easier. You have to work harder,
know.
you know, because now the demand,
Expectations there.
the demand is there.
Well, but the thing is, it's different for stand-up though, because for stand-up, it takes way longer to craft and perfect a bit, right? Like, you know how it is, right?
Yeah.
It takes way longer than just like doing a sketch and like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like, I don't know, it's always almost a faux pas to like post your like bits that's
Yeah.
not fully polished yet online. And then like if people come to your live show for you
Yeah.
to do that same bit. Because then there's like, it kind of takes away the magic of the bit in a way.
Oh, 100%.
It's like, I don't want to give away my best shit, and then what? How am I going to come up with another new stuff in the next few months before the show starts?
100%. You know, there is that fear and there is that aspect of it. But, you know, I find that, have you been to the Comics Lounge in North Melbourne yet?
I have a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
I was there like the first
So
place,
the Comics Lounge, every night they get like 300-400 people, Tuesday to Saturday, yeah? And if you're on every night, then yeah, the first time you do it on a Tuesday, you do your stuff and you're like, this is great. And then the second night you're back, okay, this is great. You're doing the same shit. Thursday, you're doing the same. Then Friday and Saturday come and you're like, man, I've been here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday doing the same thing. Now it's Saturday, the last night. Maybe these guys have heard my stuff before, but you walk out there and you're a little bit hesitant, and then you do your material and it's fresh crowd. So a lot of the time it's like we think, oh, this audience have come back and they're going to hear us. They're going to hear the same thing that they've heard already online, but you'll find that a lot of them haven't. Some of them may have, and even the ones that have heard you, they would have loved that bit that you did so much that their mate hasn't heard it, but they bought their mate to come and watch you. And then when you do that bit, they love that their friend is experiencing it as well, because that's the bit that made them fall in love with you, And so now they got something to talk about because their mate's like, yeah, that bit was great. It's like, yeah, I heard it. He did it online, blah, blah, blah. And I've had this happen to me, man, where it's like, oh, yeah, I heard you online do that bit. It was so funny. Good to see it in person, in live,
Really?
So, yeah, really.
Wow.
Yeah, the way you said really, it's like, am I making this shit up? No, I'm not. Really. Like that happens. And then there's also that side of it, which is like a real thing that may happen where you do your joke and then the audience doesn't laugh. And then you go, okay, I know this bit's funny, but they're not laughing. So you just go, have you guys heard this bit before? And then they go, yeah. You go, oh, okay. Did you hear it online? Yeah. Okay. Well, no one gets a refund. How about that? And then they laugh. Right. And then you go in your mind, oh, shit. Okay, what else have I done online recently around the same time as that bit that they may have heard? And you write new shit. But also, like, when it's your own show, you know that the crowd's a lot easier. Like, they laugh a lot easier.
Yeah. They're there for you.
They're there for you.
Yeah.
You could fart on stage. Your audience is there for you. And they'll be like, oh, it's Neema, you know?
Can you believe that sound?
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you're putting out stuff out there that you may use on live shows, but it's also not hard for you to come up with new stuff for your audience, like the ones that love you. It may be not as good as your stuff that's been polished for a year or 6 months, but it's still content and they're there for you. So they just want you to say something and do something,
Have you ever had a show with ASL interpreter before?
I have, yes. I've not a solo show, but I've done spots around town where there was ASL or Auslan translators on stage. The only thing is, like, before this video that went viral, like, you can just, and before I met Paula, who's this Auslan a lot of the Auslan translators I've had on stage or seen on stage, they've just been very bland, in the way they're translating. It's like, I'm just here to do my job and that's it. And it just, it looks distracting to me, I've got this person on stage with me and they're just signing, right? It looks distracting. So prior to Paula, I never thought, like I knew we had to have it because for accessibility, right? And inclusion, and that's great. So I'm like, that's why we have to have it. But I never thought it added to the comedy in terms of making it funnier. But once Paula was on stage, and I was just like, this lady is incredible. And then I went online and I had a look at funny translators, interpreters, and there's so many out there who are like hell into it. You've seen the one with Taylor Swift?
No.
Like Taylor Swift is singing and then you've got the Auslan translator that's like dancing and fully getting into it and singing with her. And it's just like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool to watch.
Yeah. I mean,
you got it in music as well, not just in comedy.
I know.
But it depends on the person that's on stage. They add or they just stand there and it's like you doing a shit job doing comedy, That's
it's like kind of like mailing it in.
Kind of like what?
Like mailing it in.
Mailing it in.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like half-assing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but she wasn't. And I was like, you know what? I would get some money together because they're not cheap to get Auslan translators or ASL translators. And I would fly her over to film a special where she's translating and I'll have some words ready for her,
Right. Yeah. You got to put elephant swing.
Now make her say the N-word. I want to know what that sign language is for the N-word.
Did you have the N-word in that set?
Nah.
Because sir, you have a joke about that you were doing
I
it
do,
when we were
yeah.
in Perth.
Yeah, I do, but
you didn't do it that night?
Maybe I did.
I wonder how she...
I got to watch the set. Maybe I did do it that night, or maybe I didn't because it was a short set.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, how would that work if it's a white lady?
Yeah,
What's she gonna
because then
do?
I'll be like,
She's
turn around and have a look at her and go, "That's how you do the N word." She's probably like picking stuff and get back to work.
well, maybe she does just N word, like we would say N word.
She better not. That's boring.
So you wanted her to say the N word, like the
Like,
actual word.
I want to see how you say it in sign language. Even if she says the N word, like the way we say N word,
Yeah.
like I still want to know what's the other
oh,
one.
the real word.
The
like
actual-
how you say.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, because I reckon there's some humor in that. It's just
Yeah.
in another language.
That's true. I mean, yeah. How would she? Like, I have a couple of jokes in my set now where like I'll say a couple words in Farsi.
Yeah.
Like, how would that person translate that?
In another language.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be challenging. She'll probably just look around and go, I'll just wait till he speaks English. You know what I mean? She might just look at you like, why am I here? This guy, you should get a Persian translator on stage. Yeah, I don't think she'll be able to translate words that are not in English. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think having a translator adds to the set or takes away?
Now I do. Now I believe it adds
Like
to the
every
set.
single stand-up show.
100%.
Really?
I believe now, after meeting Paula and having her on stage, it's not just with me. Like other comedians had fun with her.
Right.
Andrew Hamilton's got this bit where he talks about, I don't know, like shoving cocaine up your ass using a straw or something. And you should see her. She's there going. It was hilarious. He almost got 1 million views on his, on his video.
This lady's crushing it for you guys.
It's not even us. It's not even the jokes. It's this lady and her delivery. But when I say this lady, Paula, it's Paula and her delivery that's just like making all these videos go viral.
That's so
and
funny.
I kid you not, after my video got over 6 million views, comics in Perth are going to be like, hey, Paula, do you want to come on stage? I got some words I would you know what I mean?
No, they're going to curate it just for her to do it.
Just for her. But that's great because people are saying, does she have an Instagram page? Does she have a TikTok page? How do we find her? Right. And she's in the comment section responding and stuff. Yeah. But there's also trolls in there and she's still like having conversations and trying to I guess, educate them a bit, which is great. So a conversation has started about, accessibility and Auslan translators at comedy shows, and which is great. That's great awareness. So that's one massive positive thing that has come of it. But also it's like, I got a lot of followers, which is great. But
how does that feel? Like, how much did you get in that like the time it was blown up?
I think I got about 8,000 followers on Instagram.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
a lot.
good. Yeah.
In like 1 week.
I think it's been about a month now.
Yeah, but what was like the biggest like spurt? And was it in a few days you just saw a spike?
Oh yeah, man. Saw like probably like half of that in a week.
Wow.
And then it's just trickling. It's still trickling in.
Yeah.
Till this day. So, and I speak to her in the DM. Hey, how are you? She's like, oh, nothing much. Just just doing boring jobs, interpreting here and there. So obviously she loves comedy shows as well. Yeah,
she wouldn't do it if she didn't like it.
You can just tell.
Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't want to do that? That's amazing,
dude.
That's unreal.
Yeah, because the crowd love her. She's pretty much feeling what we're feeling on stage. That applause break, that big laughs, all because of her. Yeah, she can hear it.
She can?
She can hear the laughs. She's not deaf.
Oh, I thought. Oh wait, sorry.
Did you think she was deaf?
No, I thought she has impaired hearing.
You thought she was deaf.
Kind of.
You think you have to be deaf to be an Auslan translator?
No.
You could learn Auslan if you wanted to, and you're not deaf. I don't know what happened in Adelaide, but your IQ dropped. How was that?
Well, so for some reason, I just associate with like the interpreters as like, for some reason, why they're speaking to the deaf community.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I don't know why I thought they would also be impaired.
So dumb, not, man. Is this why you haven't opted to learn sign language, or?
Yeah, I thought I had to be deaf.
I'm not deaf. I don't qualify.
Shit, man. What the hell?
You're a moron. You qualify for everything.
Now that you've had all these new followers, have you gotten any hate?
Yeah. The only hate I get really is people going, "She's funnier than him." Who's the comedian here, her or him? And I'm like, just enjoy the free content and move on with your life.
Yeah.
I don't reply to any comments, man.
Like any comments at all?
I try to. I reply to some of it. Okay.
You gotta reply to all of them, man. You gotta fucking get on them.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to take it from me.
Yeah. So
I'm I'm the reason why your video went viral in the first place.
I wouldn't exaggerate. I want to show you off there. That's why. I want to make sure I get more followers than you, get my videos to go more viral. You are the motivator, all right? But I think we both know the real reason is because of Paula.
Yeah, yeah. Paula's the GOAT. Paula
is the GOAT. She made me and several other comedians go viral.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too exhausting to reply to all the comments. By the time I get back to it, I'm like, but I should. I should go. I'm going to go back and reply.
Especially, take it from me because there's been times where videos have gone viral for us, and we use that opportunity to like double down and just like get it while it's hot, right? Like that Australian video I posted like 2 months ago, super viral. It's still popping off right now, and like we'll still comment on comments. We'll reply to comments.
What's the Australian video?
It's just like this is my voice one day in Australia. One week,
yeah,
1
that
month,
one there. That's a while back, huh?
Yeah, it was like I filmed it when I was in Perth. It was like end of January. So it's been almost 2 months.
How many views on it?
It's almost at 4 million views.
4 million?
Yeah.
Did you just not hear me say I had over 6 million views? How dare you bring up 4 million views into this conversation and use the word super viral? Super viral?
Yo, for
4 million?
me on something like that, yeah.
Wow.
For a sketch to go viral is harder.
You know what you need? You need Paula. That's what you need.
That's true. Should have had Paula in the back the whole time just doing this.
She'll get you more than bloody
The thing,
4 million super viral.
But you can't.
Shame on you, Neema.
Yeah, but she can't interpret accents though. Cause sometimes it's the accent that's funny.
Yeah.
So you can't interpret the accent.
No, but they can hear your accent. Oh, hold on.
No, you know what I mean?
Can't hear your accent.
Right?
Yeah, they'll just be looking at you like, this guy is not funny.
He's just a weirdo.
That's his joke?
Yeah.
1 week in Australia.
Yeah.
1 month in Australia?
Yeah, I don't get it. Why is he saying these words but just
3 months in Australia?
What's the point of it?
What's so funny?
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. When a video is popping off, it's good to double down and just start rifling off comments because that's how you build your brand too, right? And that's what you want.
Yeah.
As a comedian, as a social media or entertainer, right?
So
nowadays, that's the only way to adapt. You got to double down on these comments, man.
It makes it go more viral?
Well, I don't know if it makes it go more viral.
So
maybe it helps the engagement, but either way, even if it does nothing, it'll make that person feel like you actually care and that you recognize them.
And do you respond to the troll?
No, not necessarily. No,
So
I never.
ignore the
I kind of ignored the haters.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Do you delete?
The what?
Do you delete their comments?
No, never.
Do you
never
block
delete
them?
Block them maybe in the DMs.
Yeah.
If they're like really hateful, but he handles that mostly. I don't really block people. I just leave it.
All right.
But the ones that when it's blowing up, I recommend, at least from what I've learned, is to like double down those comments because that will drive up the engagement, maybe put on the algorithm more, but also it like builds brand. That's what I think is more important than all of this.
Yeah. Okay. I reposted the video and said this video has received over 10 million views across all my platforms.
That's great, yeah.
And reposted it like 2 days ago, and it's already on almost 100K views.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's hot, right? It's like it's a good video. So double down on those good videos because you don't know when the next one's coming. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing for me. It's like when this video is going viral, like I don't know when the next one's coming. So when you can, just fucking get on it as much as you can. It's like you get what you put in. Right?
Yeah, of course.
As much as you try to put into building your brand, you're gonna get it back tenfold. So, but anyway, aside from that, it's good that you're still posting different clips too, because those also have potential to go viral as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's as long as like I remember what you said, just post like 1 or 2 a day. Every day, and you did that for like
I've been doing that for 4 or 5 years at this point.
That's so exhausting, man. That's why you don't have time for girlfriends or anything, right?
I mean, if they want to come to me, I'm not gonna.
You're like, if they're gonna edit content for me and post it, then we could spend time together. But because I feel like
rub my shoulders and edit my videos, please. Because
I feel like since having a girlfriend, I've definitely spend less time editing, posting, and stuff.
It's not good.
But I'm doing more live shows, and we co-produce shows together and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
So I think I've just directed my energy towards something else, and she helps me in the live shows.
Yeah.
So less time online. The only time I'm online is when I'm posting content. I guess Joe Rogan does that, you know?
What do you mean?
Like Joe Rogan posts his content and just moves on and focuses on, you know, creating content and live shows and family and friends and
yeah, but that's Joe Rogan. We're not fucking Joe Rogan. He's built that over decades of doing the brunt work.
Do you think he used to respond to all the comments and stuff?
Well, it was a different time. He had maybe different things he had to do. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what the equivalent is. But
who told you to respond to comments and stuff? Gary Vee.
Gary Vee.
Oh, okay.
It's worked. I mean, I took his advice, and it's been working. And people notice too.
Yeah.
I always tell my brother. We always talk about it. Whenever every single video I post, there's not one video I've missed replying to at least most of the comments. I can't. I'm at a point where I can't hit all of them anymore. You know, maybe some of them I can because it's like they only get 100 comments, and I'll just rifle all of them. Yeah. But it's like the ones that have like 600 comments, 1,000, whatever. It's like I can't. But I still do my best to do most of them. And there's always people who will comment in the comment section. How's this guy have time to respond to all these comments? Yo, like it's pretty sick how he still responds to comments. Yeah. So it's like people recognize that even if you don't even respond to their comment, right? But they just see that you're responding to other people's comments and they notice it. And I think that goes a long way for live shows because that's what we want, right? We want people to come to the live shows, and it's like it shows that I actually care, which I do. Like I actually enjoy responding to people because that makes me feel like I'm in a community just as much as they're in a community. Yeah. And that's what I think it says a lot about why people will show up and support you on the live shows. Yeah. You know,
I actually want to jump in for a second because this is a really interesting topic that I'm really passionate about. Yeah. I think that a lot of creators will get lost in algorithms and techniques and posting time and who should edit it and captions. And while those things are important, I always say to Neema and who's on our team, never forget the essence of what this is. This is social media. It's in the name. Yeah. You have to be, the whole point of this is that I want to be able to post a comment on your page or his page or Drake's or Michael Jordan's or whoever that I follow that I think is cool, and know that there's a percentage that they'll get back to me or see it or at least signal that they saw it, even if it's just a like. Like I'm a big fan of Swedish House Mafia. I'm into electronic music. I see John Simon, all these kinds of DJs that I love. And they've all retweeted or replied or whatever. And like, it makes my day. Because I'm like, fuck, they know that I like their song. And it means something. So it's not even advice. It's just, I just think it's social media. It's right there in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
no, that's a good point.
To add on to that, I've had that happen to me many times as well, where I'm like, oh man, this guy shared my video, right? And it's like, who knows who can share your video too, right? It's like maybe someone you look up to shares your video. Idris Elba. I don't know if you like Idris Elba, but I'm just saying like someone like that like sees your video blow up, and then they share it, and then now you're accessing a whole different audience, and that all happened because of what you did at the beginning.
Yeah.
The basics.
Yeah. No, look, when I first started, I used to definitely respond to all the comments, and people used to say things like, oh, he's responding to everyone. I like that about him. And then as I got busier and the comments got more, I've just been, struggling to reply. I do reply, but to 20% maybe. And then the rest, I'm like, I'm just going to shower you with more content as a sorry, you know. But the feeling of, when you share or you post or you tag, and then the person you shared or content who you've tagged, or when they respond, you feel appreciated. I was on tour, and in the green room I was teaching these comics, English comic, Singaporean comic, Sri Lankan comic, and Australian comic, and I was teaching them Ethiopian dance to the singer that I like, and then I posted the reel. And I tagged him, and he responded with, "This is the best thing I've seen today,"
Sick.
And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Right?
he knows I exist.
See how cool it feels?
And then I looked around, and I was like, "Time to be gangster."
Can't show too much emotion.
Yeah. But I can see what you mean. Yeah. You know what? I'm motivated. I'm gonna go home and reply to all the comments right now.
Yeah, bro. Literally though, like it's like if you just set out a time to do the work, you'll get a lot more out of it down the line. Might not happen right away, but down the line it'll help.
Definitely, the response is there from the audience, and they notice. You know what I mean?
Especially now, I'm saying because we're talking about your viral videos. I'm like, now's the time to do it. It's like how often are you getting such viral videos?
Yeah.
And it's like it will happen more and more. I'm just saying, but for now, get on that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just ignore the trolls because they're the
who
ones
cares about the trolls,
that
man?
make
They don't
you go,
fucking know.
I don't need to be here. I'm gonna go work and create more content.
Who cares about them? Because and that's the thing too. Is like the more you worry about the people who actually support you and what you want to do, like the trolls are still always gonna be there no matter what.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're gonna be so busy and occupied with what you want, what you care about, and what you're interested in that none of this shit is gonna matter in months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's just about just consistently putting the effort to build that brand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and also just like, finding different ways to grow that brand as well. Or because one thing I noticed from you is you started with, the videos where you're going 1 week in Toronto or one week in one day, or and then I noticed that was what got you out there. Those videos were what was blowing up, and I was like, oh, Neema's following is going up. From like when you had 2,000 people following you only on Instagram, and then I was like watching, and I could see that now you're doing accents, you're doing sketches, and then stand-up clips were here and there. But the hardest part, I reckon, is when you start to blow up, and then which way do you go to try and keep them engaged? And
how to pivot, to adapt. Like what we're trying to do now is post more stand-up clips, which I'm like, that's why from doing all the Fringe shows, like doing all these sets, right? It's like the more you film, that's why I always.
But you can't post any of those Fringe sets that you did because
no, not the
they were
sets.
all bomb sets.
Not the actual sets, like because sometimes they have good crowd work clips, right? Which there's a couple there, right? It's like out of like 30 sets, like I'm gonna find 2 or 3 good stand-up crowd work clips, and that's slowly but surely you just add those on, and then like that's the people who were there from the beginning for the sketches. Not all of them, but some of them will start to gravitate towards, oh, he's doing stand-up now, and then because I want people to know I do stand-up too, because I've been doing stand-up for like almost 9 years, but most people don't know that about me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And
they think you're just a sketch comic.
Well, that's the challenge, right? That's the challenge I have to battle. But either way, it doesn't even matter. Content is king, regardless of all this. Because even without posting stand-up clips, even on the last tour, we had all those people show up to my tour in Canada.
Yeah, okay.
And that goes to show that it's possible to sell out even if you're not posting stand-up clips.
I'll jump in here one more time because this is, I think, important for the viewers. We saw Theo Von a few weeks ago, and
love Theo.
He's so fucking funny, right? You can't go on any timeline and not see his face at this point. Like he's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Most people still don't know he does stand-up.
Yeah.
And he's selling out arenas.
Right.
Some people, like his manager was telling me, like not everybody, but there's a large enough percentage of people that it's worth mentioning come to the shows thinking like, okay, it probably is stand-up, but they're like, it might just be a live podcast or something. Theo Von, he's like one of the hottest comedians on earth right now, maybe of all time, right?
Yeah.
So that just goes to show, like, it doesn't really matter what kind of attention you have, I think. The fact that people's eyeballs are on you, you can then turn them and say, okay, come to this show, or look at this ad that I made, buy this product, or you can turn their attention to whatever you want. But I think that content is king for that reason, right? Like Gary Vee basically puts out content about what he believes, but people still come watch him speak. A lot of people don't even know that he speaks, but then they find out that he speaks and they're like, oh, cool, I want to go to that show or whatever that is, that speech or that keynote or whatever. So like, I don't think it matters. I think you have eyeballs that it's up to you to do with it what you please.
Yeah.
You have to almost show them what they are looking for.
Right.
And it's so cool to see where you started and what your content looks like now.
I know.
Like if we scroll back down.
It's terrible.
Remember the first sketch we did when I
Ethiopia?
came to Toronto in 2017?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Oh, that was the worst.
That was the worst thing.
And we thought it was like so good. I remember we were reshooting that bit where we're like pushing your chair.
Oh, yeah, down the hall.
Or you're rolling your chair. You're going, hey, hey, hey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I watch it now and I go, what an idiot.
If you're watching this podcast.
And I'm there doing like... and I thought I was killing it.
I know, right?
I was doing this.
Right, we're so funny.
Oh, man.
If you're watching this or listening to this podcast, it's one of the very first YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, so go check it out, NeemaNaz on YouTube.
So
but
bad.
also it's good to have those because it shows people where you started.
Yeah.
That's why I never delete videos off YouTube either, man. There's so many videos I remember doing in the first few years, and I'm like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Like now I look back on it and I'm like garbage. Videos I've done 3 months ago, I'm like, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? But over time, right? You keep getting better and better. You inch towards, maybe not perfection, but excellence, right?
Yeah.
With your videos, with your craft. But it's like you're also your own biggest critic. So it's like what we thought was terrible, there were people who were watching at that time who thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I have people messaging me still to this day. We're like, yo, man, I used to watch those videos in 2015, 2016 with your mom, like pranking your mom or random sketches, right? It's like, so that's how you know it's never up to you to decide what's good or not. Because at the time and now, I still think that shit, it's shit. But then there's still people who are like, I think it's hilarious.
And it's also necessary, because that's where you learn a lot of tricks. Like how to edit, how to capture, how to write, how to make it funnier,
for sure,
what to do less of and more of and better of. So I think those first shitty sketches, or you look back and you think they're shitty, but those at the time when you did them, even when it's writing a joke or touring, it's like, even if it's not the way you intended it to go, it wasn't picture perfect the way you hoped it would be, like at least like you've did it, and so you've learned from it, and so it's necessary for you to grow. Right,
it's the reps. That's the same thing we say for stand-up, right? It's like it's the reps that's only going to make you better.
Yeah,
you can't fake the reps.
Yeah,
you can't get better overnight. It's never possible.
Yeah,
people don't know when people do blow up. They don't know how many hours they've just put in over the past 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is.
Yeah,
right. But like that's the point. Most people aren't going to know you've done all that shit.
And it's you reckon it's around the 10-year mark that people usually.
People say that 10-year mark. That's when they start to like really get into their prime.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like nowadays with social media, it's different because you can almost fast track that.
Yeah, true.
Because you're getting so much more reps quicker online.
Yeah.
And people's attention spans are much shorter. So you are making more things faster. So you're growing faster. So I think people are adapting much quicker. And that 10-year mark thing, it could be different for other people. Like I think someone can be maybe getting in their prime at 7 years, but like,
man, that's insane. I definitely think the times are different now with social media, and that I think from what I've seen as well, the best way is to grow your following online, and then have spend your money on filming a special, chopping it, putting it up there, building your online following, writing a new hour, and getting people to come to the show.
Same shit. Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah.
Like it's in your hands now. You don't have to wait for agents. You don't have to wait for Netflix or none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
There's no gatekeepers.
There's no gatekeepers. Yeah, 100%. It's sad when I meet comics or just people in the entertainment industry and they're waiting for an opportunity. They're waiting to get signed, or they're waiting to get picked and toured, and I'm like, just do it yourself,
Yeah. How was that for you? Like, because I know even when we met, you were only like what, like 3-4 years in too?
Dude, I was only like, when we first met in Canada, I was about 2 years in.
That was 2017, middle of 2017.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when we met.
Yeah.
You were only 2 years in.
2 years in, yeah.
And you were like touring in a way, like you were traveling, doing your own shows.
Yeah.
In Canada. It's not even in your own country. Like
100%, right?
It's pretty wild. Like,
dude, it's
what made you want to do that?
I look back now and I go, what was wrong with me? It's like I was in a different world, like the way I was operating, but I was that level of stamina, that level of energy, like I don't have it now.
Right.
I'm too relaxed now, because things are good now.
Because you have a girlfriend now.
No, it's not because I have a girlfriend.
You're constantly drained.
It's because I'm eating good now. Constantly drained. I'm relaxed, I'm waking up.
Relaxed,
I'm waking up on like silk bed sheets, and
you have feminine energy besides you.
I'm not waking up on like dirty couches with cum stains on them, and I'm like, ugh, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go work harder. I'm waking up, breakfast is cooked and ready, and smashed avocados, oh, life's good now. It's hard to grind the way I used to. But, to answer your question, I think the best thing that happened for me when I came into stand-up is I had spent probably a good year or two doing personal development. And in personal development, it just teaches you how to stay focused, teaches you how to self-motivate, it teaches you how to stay resilient, it teaches you how to, be fearless, not reckless, but fearless, right? And the difference in that is having the courage, managing the risk, having the courage and moving toward the goal. And when you face the obstacles, you don't just look back for safety, you actually find a way over those hurdles and you continue on, right? So I had already done a year or two of self-development.
Mm-hmm. And what were some of the things that you were doing for self-development?
I was listening to speakers, getting their personal philosophy on life. Les Brown, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas. Les Brown is amazing, and they all had... they all helped in different fields. So if you were feeling lazy and not motivated, Eric Thomas was your guy.
Classic.
He'd be like, come on, get up. What are you doing?
Yeah. I got a guy. There's a guy waiting by the pole.
That sounds exactly like it.
If you don't even go again, if you don't try, he's going to run the other way. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck?
That was a mix. Right. That was a mix of Eric Thomas and David Goggins. I was like, yeah, Eric, wait a minute.
Yeah, who's going to carry the boats?
Oh, man, I love that bit. Eh? Who's going to carry the boats?
Yeah. So Eric Thomas for getting up your ass and shit. Yeah. What about the other guys?
And then if you're feeling hurt, because for whatever reason, betrayal, betrayal, losing loved ones, losing friends, not happy with life and where you're at the moment, not feeling like you matter, feeling like you're not being heard. If you're feeling like that, emotional and you feel down, Les Brown was great. Les Brown was he brought it home. So for me, when I'm feeling down, Les Brown was my guy. When I'm feeling lazy, but I know what I need to do, but I can't be bothered because I'm like, I got to get up early, blah, blah. Eric Thomas was the guy. Mm-hmm. When I did certain things and the outcome was negative and I'm like, why do I keep doing it this way? What's wrong with doing it another way? Or why am I struggling to do it another way? Then Bob Proctor was the guy to listen to because Bob Proctor talked a lot about paradigms and why... why we do what we do, and it's not because of our current situation, but it's more so because of our upbringing maybe, or the environment we've come from and the influence that has had on us. And so we're programmed to go a certain way, even without knowing, subconsciously we just do it. And so understanding your paradigms and, shifting your paradigms, trying to learn new things. Bob Proctor was great for that. And just personal philosophy and, carrying yourself a certain way. Jim Rohn was the guy for that. He was all about personal philosophies. And so I had all these guys that I was listening to. And then I had the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill that talks about finding your purpose and working toward your purpose and how to find your purpose and how to excel in your purpose. And so I'm like, oh, it's great. So it's there. So what I want to do is find my purpose. How do I find my purpose? Hey, it's in the book. Go and read this book, right? It tells you how to find your purpose. So I did all of that before finding stand-up comedy. In fact, that's how I found stand-up comedy, right? And when I did it and it was magical, I was obsessed with it, yeah?
Right.
And so 6 months into comedy, now I wasn't really friends with comedians in the scene, I was just like, this is what I want. Straight away when I did it, I was like, I want to sell out arenas. So how do I do that? And so I went, okay, I got to write a show. I got to perform my own show. I got to build my audience, but I got to work. I got to go to open mics, build these 5 minutes into 10 minutes. And then I want to do what that guy's doing 20 minutes. I want to do what that guy's doing half an hour. I want to do what that guy's doing closing. And I want to tell this audience, you guys follow me on social media, And so straight away from the get-go, I had a plan. And the plan was, I'm going to write a show. 6 months into comedy, I did a 45-minute bit. 45-minute show. And I had 2 comedians opening for me. So they did a total of like together combined 15 minutes. So it was an hour show. We had about 100 people there. I had a promoter there. My buddy was helping me promote. By the time, and tickets were like cheap because I'm like, no one's going to come to see me for $30. I'll just make it $15, maybe 10.
That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. And people came, right? And so the first show, it's like I made negative $100.
Right. You're not making money. Yeah.
You're not making money.
No.
But I was like on stage going, I'm going to die. This is not going to go well. As soon as I got up and I did my stuff and they were laughing, I was like, okay, cool. Now I just have to repeat what I've practiced in front of the mirror. And I practiced my 45-minute bit in front of the mirror every day for a whole month before I did it. You know, at the time I was in banking, so I'd come home and it would be like, I'd finish banking at 6 p.m. I'll go to an open mic, do a set. By the time I get home, it'll be like midnight maybe, right? I don't go to bed. I turn off the light and I get ready into my sleeping, you know, my pajamas
Naked,
or whatever. Yeah. Not naked. Keep your fantasy to yourself. You know, I'm in my pajamas. I turn off the light. It's dark. Close my eyes and I practice my bit, and then I fall asleep. Right?
For 45 minutes,
yeah,
you would practice your bit in the darkness.
Yeah, and then I'll time myself. Yeah.
What do you mean in the darkness? Like sitting on your bed?
No, because I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And so I'll be standing because if you're sitting down, you'll fall asleep.
Of course.
So I'm standing up and I'm like, ladies and gents, thank you so much for coming down. You know, my name is Joe. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. If my mom, imagine if someone opened the door at that exact moment. Like, this guy's roaming around in the dark talking to himself.
It is boxes.
Yes, hello, psych ward.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would do that every day for a month. And sometimes I'd get home, it'll be like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And I'll call my buddy up, Upul, and I'll be like, hey, man, are you awake? He'll be like, yeah. I was like, can I come over? I want to practice my 45-minute set. And so I'll practice in front of him as well. Mainly in front of him because he holds me accountable as well. He'll be like, don't sit down, get up, because, you know, more energy. And then he'll heckle me as well. So I'm getting trained to like remember my bits, but also riff back. And so when I'm on stage, I just did what I practiced for a whole month. And in self-development, it teaches you, like Eric Thomas got this saying, it's like, we get rewarded in public for what we do in private, right? So in private, I was practicing. I was, you know, my buddy will heckle me. I'll give it back to him. I'll get back to my routine. You know, I'll be like, bro, I'm envisioning all this audience. I'm doing this every day for a month. So when I had to do it in front of a live audience for 45 minutes, that one day, it was just another day in the office, yeah? And I did it, and it went great. Man, my buddies were there. They're like, we can't believe you're a comedian. Oh, we went to strippers, and we partied. We had a great time, right? We celebrated this new discovery.
Yeah.
And then I just went, okay, I'm going to repeat this in 2 months' time. And the person who was my promoter, he goes, no, we'll wait till next year. We'll wait for the demand to build, and then we'll do the show again. And I was like, no. Because like I know people who do shows every 2 months, every month. I'm going to do my show with or without you. And he was like, all right, well, good luck. So I did it anyways, and then I had 280 people come.
Oh, wow.
And this time it wasn't 45 minutes, it was 50 minutes.
Oh, so an extra 5 minutes.
Extra 5 minutes.
You added on to that 45.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right? 280 people. And so then that was amazing. We took pictures. You know, people couldn't believe it because they wanted to come and see. There was a hype. And then I said, okay, this is great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tour this show. I'm going to do this show, not even tour it. That's, right. You know, I said, I'm just going to do this show in another state. So I did it in Melbourne, or I did it in Adelaide. And when I did it in Adelaide, it was the first time doing it outside of Perth, my city. So when I did it in Adelaide, I was like, okay, I'm going to find a promoter within the Ethiopian community, and I'm going to give them a percentage and get them to invite their people because no one's going to know me there.
Right.
And if I can get 60, 70 people, I'll be happy. Right. And so we do the show. 2 weeks out, ticket sales is like 1. A week out, ticket sales still 1.
Oh, shit.
Maybe 2 if I was lucky.
That's terrible.
And I get to the airport, and the guy picks me up, and he goes, hey, Joe, this is like maybe 48 hours before the show. He goes, hey, man, there's been a death in the community. It's death by suicide. And so our community has taken a hit. What do you want to do? Do you want to cancel the show? Or? And I said, no, I can't. I'm not going to cancel the show. At first, I was like, maybe we should cancel the show. But then I was like, no, we're not going to cancel the show. I said, listen, I said, I'm here. He said, the funeral's tomorrow. And I said, okay, we'll do this. We'll go pay our respect at the funeral, and then we'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens. So we go to the funeral or the wake, I should say. We go to the wake. Everyone's sad. I'm paying my respect. And then after we finished, I was like, you know what? People are sad right now. What do you need when you're sad? Someone to make you laugh, right?
Comedy.
I'm like, I'm here, bro. So I go to him, can you introduce me and just tell everyone I'm a comedian from Perth? And he goes, hey guys, this is a comedian from Perth. His name is Joe White. And I said, hey, how are you? They're like, oh, comedian. Yeah. I said, yeah, I've got my show happening tomorrow. You guys should come, And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll come, We need some laughter. And I was like, yeah. Gave them tickets. Like we sold tickets. At the funeral. At the wake, we sold tickets.
This guy's...
We sold tickets at the wake.
This guy's grinding at a funeral, bro.
No excuses.
Fucking reminds me of that scene from Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
With Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
You seen that movie?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so sad.
Yeah, he's like telling Vince Vaughn, he's like, the best place to pick up girls at a funeral. Like, you're fucked, dude.
But he's just in grind mode. The best place to sell tickets to a comedy show is the funeral.
Like, I understand how that may look bad, but the thing is, like, I was genuinely coming from a good place.
Good intentions, yeah.
I was sad that this person took their own life because, like the way I got into comedy is because I was going through a hard moment in my life, and I was at a stage where I was like, fuck it, what's the point of living? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, I've been that close myself. And so when I heard someone had actually done it, like, I was hurt by it, And I didn't want to do the comedy show. I was like, let's go to the wake. I'm here. Take me with you. I think he picked me up and a priest at the airport, from memory. So he took me and the priest. We went to the wake. And
that's so random.
Bro, that was my first time in Adelaide doing my show. Right?
Oh, this was in Adelaide, not Melbourne.
No, this is Adelaide.
Oh, okay.
So we get to the wake and the promoter is there and the whole thing finishes and I'm talking to people and I'm talking to these teenagers and, we're like, yeah, come to the show. I'm going to do a show. I said, come to the show. I told him, let's just do this show.
Yeah.
And, we gave them flyers as well. So we'll fly at the wake. We sold tickets at the wake. And I was like, man,
this guy's barking at a funeral.
I said, man, that's at least 20 people coming now. I'm like, okay, is there a barbecue nearby or what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, there is barbecues on Sundays. Because, we play soccer on Sundays and there's barbecues. I was like, take me to that barbecue. Let's go to that soccer game. We went to the soccer game. I'm like, just tell everyone, there's a comedy show. He's like, hey, this guy's a comedian. I was like, hey guys, yeah, comedian. Yeah, it's a comedy show, tickets. Yeah, we sold a few more tickets.
Wow,
there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, right? And then we get to the next day, I'm sitting at the show with my opening act and there's no one there, right? And he goes, and we're about to open doors, but there's no one lining up, nothing.
Really?
And so he goes to me, do you think people are going to come? Well, this is because it's your first time interstate. I said, honestly, I don't know. But I'm confident that I've done the back work and whatever happens now, I'll deal with the outcome as it's given to me. If it means performing to no one, fine, that's the outcome. I'll deal with it. I'll go away. I'll tweak things and I'll come back again. And if it means more people show up or not as many, but people show up, I'll still perform to those 3-4 people, whatever.
They're still paying to be there, so.
It's not even if they weren't paying, like I'll still perform. Right.
Because you're in it for the love of the craft.
I'm in it for the love of the craft, but also these people, I want to make these people laugh. They've entrusted me with their time. I want to have a good time with them. Mm-hmm. And then before you know it, we had 80 people in this room.
Wow.
Yeah. All East Africans. Yeah.
Ethiopian?
Maybe, Ethiopian, Eritrean, Somalian.
Somalian,
yeah. Some Sudanese in there as well.
Wow.
Right? And there's maybe 1 or 2 white people in the room. That was the most amount of Africans I've had in one room.
And that was your second ever show you did?
That was my first show outside of Perth.
Perth, which is your hometown in Australia.
Yeah. So in Adelaide.
Right. But it's still like one of your first shows that you did on your own.
Yeah.
One of the first ones.
Yeah.
And only 6 months in? You said?
This would have been about just under a year. So yeah, 8 months.
That's fucking incredible. No one's doing that.
Dude, it's like, crazy.
Do you think it's because you already lived such a long life because, you're so old and everything? No, because at the time, how old were you when you started? You were like 30 something?
29 when I started.
Okay, so like my age now.
Yeah. Are you 29?
Yeah.
Fuck, you look older. That's crazy.
Fuck you.
I thought you were like fucking 37
Get
or
the
something.
fuck out of here. No, he's talking
Dude,
shit.
are you in your 20s?
What?
Are you in your
You
late
knew
20s?
that, man.
No.
No, he's doing a bit for the podcast.
Dude, are you in your late 20s?
Yeah, man, I'm 29.
No way.
Shut the fuck up.
Dude, you look about 27.
Yeah, okay. No,
How
he's
old are you?
capping.
How
You
old are
know
you?
this already.
Omid, how old are you? 35. Are you 35? Dude, Neema looks 35. What?
Nah, he's talking shit. He's
It's
just doing it for a
probably
bit.
all the content creating.
Yeah,
making
for
you
sure.
age.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. 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 I'll listen to Eric Thomas.
Mixed with David
That was
Goggins.
just DJ Khaled. That was okay, wait. So yeah, when you started, you were 29.
29.
And do you think because that's such a wise thing to do at that age?
Yeah.
What I think it's relatable to me because I feel like I've grown much faster
Okay,
than most
wise
people my age.
and you, not relatable. But let's say it is for the sake of this podcast. Go on.
Yeah. So, do you think because you're already in banking all those years, and you said I think at the time you said that you just went through a breakup as well, right? And whatever, you've had all these big life events happen. You think that's the reason why it helped you kind of get into this mode in your first year of comedy, doing your own shows like that, like because that's super ballsy, to be honest. No one ever does that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they're not even in my 4th or 5th year. I was like, let me put on my own show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, do you think it's because of all that experience you've already had in life?
100%. I think that, but also, maturity is very important. People think, just because they started a craft or they've go down a creative path at a late age compared to when people start in their teens, if you start in your late 20s or early 30s, people think, I'm a little bit old. But the thing is, you bring so much maturity to the game that will help you move fast, and create with more, so the jokes come from a place where the life experience is so rich. People are like, man, you've had that life experience. The refugee life experience, the breakup life experience, the working 3, 4, 5, 10 different jobs, being a banker, having my own business, all before the age of 29. And so I had all these life experiences to draw jokes and stories from, but also because I've risked so much already leading up to that age, like I wasn't scared to risk a little bit more. I wasn't scared to go interstate and put on my own show, lose some money, and have no one show up. Like I wasn't scared. I was fearless, right?
Yeah.
Because I knew I'd manage the risk. The risk of people not coming. If I don't flyer, if I don't push harder, if I don't network with someone within that community that may be able to bring at least their family, their friends, I'd already done the back work to make sure I've managed the risk. Mm-hmm. Now, all I have to do is just show up and execute what I've been practicing in private and show my product, yeah? And so, and that comes from self-development, from personal growth, from life experiences, and the fact that I was 29 years old and lived so much different life events. So, yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, that's crazy because I feel like comedy is also one of the only professions where you just get better with age.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like I know people who started when they were 40 and they're already crushing it.
Yeah.
Because it's like they've lived all this life and they have all these stories to talk about.
Yeah.
So it helps them way more than someone who, like me, I started when I was like just under 20. So I'm like, what the fuck am I going to talk about? I'm like, nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it makes sense why you went down that path so early on. And I mean,
when I was in Canada, I remember I did that in Adelaide, and then I was like, okay, cool. If it worked in Adelaide, it'll work in Brisbane. And so I did that in Brisbane. If it worked in Brisbane, it'll work in Sydney. I did it in Sydney. If it worked in Sydney, it'll work in Melbourne. I did it in Melbourne. And so I did it around Australia, right? And then I went, okay, cool. So it's worked around Australia. So why don't I just do the same thing, but overseas? And if the return has been, this much in Australia, considering the population is so small compared to Canada, or America, because Canada is near America and America's got fucking 300 plus million, then I figured the return on investment doing it there would be way greater. So I went, okay, I'm going to take the same blueprint and I'm going to do it in Canada, right? And I was working as a banker while I was doing this around Australia. So it's crazy. I'd be posting, yeah, Brisbane, thank you so much for having me. The show was great. Everybody had fun. We'll see you back the next time I'm back. I've posted it, but I've posted it as I was like heading to work from Perth Airport, right? And so the taxi will drop me off at the bank, and I'll be sitting in front of my computer working, and my buddy will go, it says you're in Brisbane. I was like, yeah, I was. I just got here now. Today. And he'll go, okay, cool. Well, we need this application for this home loan submitted. I'm like, yeah, I'm working on it, you know? So it's like I had to just bam, 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 you know? And so when I was going to Canada, I was like, bugger it. I have to make a decision now. You know, I'm going to do the same thing that I did here in Canada, but I can't. Work's not going to give me 6 months off. They're not going to give me a year off, you know? And so I went downstairs, I bought a one-way ticket to Canada and went upstairs and handed in my resignation letter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm leaving.
Damn, just like that?
Just like that. And my boss was like, are you crazy? Not only like a year ago when you applied for this position, you were telling me how motivated you are and you're going to be the CEO.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's before I discovered stand-up. Dude, after I discovered stand-up, I was like, see you later, banking.
You can't go back now.
Oh, man.
Right?
And he was trying so hard to keep me. He's like, oh, why don't you take a year off? I didn't even know I could. He's like, year off? He goes, yeah, you can take a year off, go do what you have to do, and then come back. But here's the thing, you know.
Were you that good at banking?
No, I think they was just short-staffed, you know. They couldn't afford to lose everyone.
And there's also like they're trying to hit a quota with Ethiopian.
They want diversity, yeah. They're like, if you leave, that's 50% of Africans gone. You know?
So wait, when you went to Canada, is that also the first shows you were doing? Is that how the Ethiopian is Still Not Hungry came about? Because that you obviously have taken that on tour like a bunch of times now.
Yeah. So the first show was Ethiopian and Not Hungry.
Oh right, that's the original.
So before around Australia, I did Ethiopian and Not Hungry, and then when I was going overseas, I was like, maybe I should do Ethiopian and Still Not Hungry. So when I went to Canada, I did Ethiopian and Still Not Hungry. Yeah. Right.
That's where we met.
That's when we met. Yeah. Oh, we met in Toronto. I started in Montreal.
Yeah, we met in Toronto.
I went to Vancouver, and then from Vancouver, I went to Montreal.
Yeah.
And then Montreal, I came to Toronto, which is where I met you. But
how did you come up with that name?
Ethiopian Still Not Hungry?
Just the original, Ethiopian and Not Hungry. Like, why did you come up with that name?
It was just funny, you know? And the reason why I used it as a title was because it used to be my first joke. Like, I used to literally just come on stage and be like, hey, guys, my name is Joe White. I'm Ethiopian and I'm not hungry.
Oh.
And people used to laugh. Funny. And I have to say that in Australia because every time I tell people I'm Ethiopian, they're like, oh, you must be hungry. Oh, my God. I'm like, no, I'm not. Right?
Wait, people said that to you?
Yeah, man. There's always that.
What do you mean?
Well, in Australia or worldwide, you know, there's that whenever you hear or someone tells you they're Ethiopian or when you hear Ethiopia, what do you think of?
Habesha.
Bullshit.
Injera.
You're well versed, that's why.
I'm cultured,
but
baby.
People think of famine.
Right.
People think of the We Are the World concert that took place in the 80s with organized by the guy from U2.
The World Concert?
Is We Are the World, where it's like fundraising for the famine in Ethiopia.
Oh,
where so many people died. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so it stemmed from that.
Yeah, it stemmed from that. So when people think of Ethiopia, they think famine, poverty.
People would like say this like in a intentional like
just hate joking. Obviously.
Oh, joking way.
Yeah,
but then people would also do that like when you're growing up, like to make fun of you or some shit probably.
No, I used to. Well, this is the thing with Aussie humor. It's so different to Canadian and American humor. So in Australia, we self-deprecate a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Where in America, in Canada, when I was doing shows there, I find that people come on stage and they're like, I'm amazing, and then they tell you all this stuff to why they're amazing, to why they tell you their opinion. Mm-hmm. In Australia, no one gives a shit about your opinion, right? And no one gets on stage and brags about how good they are because the audience would just be like, mate, we're a country that's built from convicts, yeah? So we hate the aristocrats. We hate the people that think they're all that, putting us to work. So your shit stinks just as much as ours. Now tell us why why your shit stinks. That's what we want to listen to, right? So we self-deprecate a lot in Australia, but it doesn't mean that when we don't love ourselves. It doesn't mean that we're not proud of ourselves. Like I know I love myself. I know I 100% believe I'm an amazing person, an amazing human, and I've accomplished so much, and I'm so proud of myself. Right? When I get on stage and I self-deprecate, it's just me taking the piss out of things that have happened to me so that they don't have a hold on me anymore, and they're funny, and I want to share that with you, right? And some people relate and they go, all right, yeah, I do that shit too. In America, same style, people look at you like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay?
It's true.
You know, do you lack confidence?
Yeah. Aww.
They don't laugh.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I know I'm amazing. I'm just joking, you know, like, so it's weird. But here, when, you know, you meet your Aussie mates and they go, oh, Ethiopian, oh, mate, I bet you can run a marathon or two, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah,
that's just joking. Like, they're not teasing you. They're
it.
Just making jokes, you know?
Well, we have the same thing back home, too. It's like, you know, we also make fun of each other's, like, races and everything like that, too. It's not exclusive to Australia, but, like...
Yeah.
But I agree with the humor of on stage compared to U.S. and Canada, because it is true. There's a lot of like, it's way more confidence over on the other side as opposed to here. Here, like, they love self-deprecating. I'm like, I'm talking about myself. I'm shitting on myself. They're like, ha, ha, ha.
That's
Look at this fucking guy, right?
Yeah.
Then over there, I sort of, back home, they're like, oh man, you shouldn't make fun of your weight. Like,
yeah,
it's like, you should love yourself. It's okay.
And you know, it's weird to me, but it's like, I like, obviously I grew up here, so I'm a bit biased when I say I like the Aussie humor.
Yeah, well, it's your style. It's how you grow. It's how you're raised, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But when I was in Canada, you know, it's, I made sure I did, when I came to Canada, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do my show at Theatre St. Catherine in Montreal, and I'm going to have it just a month after JFL.
Oh,
but it's going to be on sale during JFL in that Theatre St. Catherine where JFL's big shows are in there, yeah? And so JFL organized for the New York Times to come and do stories on all the shows they have in that venue, and they picked my show up.
Wow, actually?
The New York Post, yeah.
Wow.
That's
just by chance?
Just by chance. But I knew...
That's hilarious.
But I did it on purpose, where I was like, I'm going to put my show in here. I'm going to advertise it. It's an 80-seater. If I can get 60 people in there, great. But if I have it on sale during the festival, then whatever media that venue gets, my show should get it or could get it. But I have to be in it to win it, yeah? And so then the New York Times, organized by JFL, when did stories in the shows they have in that venue. Australia's version of Trevor Noah at the New York Times. I was like, yeah.
Shit. Damn, you must have felt fucking good at the time, eh?
Well, I think, you know what it is? Like, I love planning, executing, and then when it's right and you hit it right and you're like, yes, I predicted it and it came true. But I didn't know to what degree like that was in terms of accomplishment. But it's to be in the New York Post is a big deal and it's hard, you know? Yeah. So now I'm like, hell yeah, I did that. But back then I was just like, okay, on to the next one. You know, what's the next thing?
Wow, even at the time you were thinking that way.
Yeah, dude, I used to leave my apartment 1 a.m. in the morning in Montreal to go and put posters around town of my show, because I noticed in Canada or in that side of the world where if you get seen putting your own posters up, apparently you're not a big deal and no point coming to your show. So I used to do it at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and quickly get my ass indoors because that place is dangerous too, you know?
Yeah, a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, man. I got scammed, just is off topic, but I got scammed $500 when I was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
By Bitcoin.
Of course. Well, Bitcoin, yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know about Bitcoin at that time, you know. Do you have Bitcoin?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What did you think it was? Fucking food or something?
Dude, I had no idea. I'm like, what is this thing Bitcoin? It's like, is it
I'm hungry.
I'm like, is it a form of money? Right? And then this guy goes, oh, you want to go? I put on easyroommate.com that I was going to Montreal and needed accommodation.
Oh.
And someone had taken my profile from there and went, hey, texted me. I can help you get accommodation. In fact, I'm a real estate agent. This is what we have available. We just need you to deposit, $600 into this account at this ATM.
Classic.
and I went and did it.
Wow.
And then
Amateur move.
they wanted me to deposit more money, and I was like, hold up.
Damn, you got fucked.
Dude, Canada, it's a different world to Australia, you know, in terms of
In
the
what way?
way, like the hustle and bustle, like just even that. I never thought I would get scammed. You know, it's like I'm pretty smart. I know what, you know, how to play the game, considering like all the upbringings that I've had, you know, being a refugee and hustling and living on the streets, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got to Canada.
Got humbled quick. Yeah, welcome to my country,
Dude.
What was your experience other than that in Canada? Like, do you like Canada, and also what about US?
You guys have a ceiling in Canada when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
there's gatekeepers everywhere,
Yeah.
right? That's why I'm early on in my career too. I was like, bro, fuck all this shit. I'm not gonna hang around all these people all the time doing the same basement shows and not try to do something that can build my own audience from the jump. And I mean, I got lucky, but also like it was intentional. But at the same time, I'm so grateful for me 9 years ago when I started my YouTube channel, because I'm like, I wouldn't have even guessed that it would get to this point now.
Well, how many subscribers you got now?
Well, YouTube led to like Instagram and TikTok and all this other shit. You
It's
know
all
what I'm saying?
connected, isn't it?
It's all connected, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, YouTube is still, you know, decent. It's like 170,000.
170,000. I just told you I had a video that got over 6 million. Yeah. What is wrong with you? The lack of disrespect.
I know, man. Sorry. But no, yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I mean.
That's hard, YouTube.
Yeah, but so for Canada, like, what was your experience when you were in Toronto?
I was definitely shocked with the diversity in the audience. I did the first show for Kenny, the Nubian
Kenny
show.
Robinson, nice.
Yeah, Nubian show. And I looked in the crowd. There were Somalians, Ethiopians, Haitians, whites, you name it. Every race was in that bloody room. And then when I performed, it was killer response. And I was like, hell yeah, this is such a good audience, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the peak in Canadian comedy.
Pretty much.
Like, I don't know any other rooms in Canada that's better than the Nubian show.
Consistently, at least.
Yeah.
Well,
like you can do yuck yucks on weekends and stuff,
whatever.
but that's it.
Yeah.
You know, where in America, once you do rooms at the level of yuck yucks, it's like you've got so many rooms in America, and you've got like where all the agents and, you know, acting and Netflix and and you can just tour forever in America. There's just so many places so many places you can go to.
Yeah. A lot of comedians like make their living just going all throughout the States. Just all year round, just touring the States.
Yeah.
There's so many, right? There's so many states, so many cities, so many towns, multiple weekends, weekday shows.
Yeah.
Right? So many people in such a congested area. So it makes sense.
And
you can't do that shit
drive.
in Australia and Canada.
No.
It's so spread out. There's not many. There's also way more. I was talking about this in the previous episode with James, but like there's not as much culture of comedy in Canada and Australia compared to the US. You know what I'm saying? Like even here, like I'm sure you've noticed it. Like no one's really like, oh, what do you guys want to do this weekend? We should go to a comedy show.
Yeah.
Like no, that never happens back home, even in Canada.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the same for you here in Australia, but
America is so different for sure, man. When I went to New York, they have black rooms and they have white rooms.
they have Mexican rooms.
Mexican rooms.
They have
as well?
everything. They have that like Latino rooms. They have all of it. Everything.
Damn.
Brown rooms. They have everything.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
Yeah. I went to Harlem Nights in New York.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had Ishmael, African American comic, and he was showing me around. And so he took me to one of his rooms, and there was like maybe 50, 60 people in this room, and they were all black, except maybe for 2 white women next to the stage, right? And so I was like, I'm going to bomb. This is not my usual audience that I'm used to, because in Australia, 400 or 500 people, there's only one black person,
Right.
and they're usually by the door, by the exit, ready to get the fuck out in case a race war or something breaks out, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm used to performing to predominantly white audiences. So I go to Harlem, and 50, 60 people, and they're all black, and I'm like, I'm going to bomb. And Ishmael looks at me, and he goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, this is not my audience, you know? And he goes, she looks like your mom, he looks like your dad, he looks like your uncle, he looks like your brother, that looks like your sister. These are your people. You'll be fine. They'll love you. And I was like, okay, cool. I shit in my pants. I got on stage and did my material, and they loved me, right? And I was like, man, he's right. These are my people, right? But it's because the environment I grew up in Australia. Mm-hmm. And so I always wonder what type of comic I would be if I had grown up in the States, you know?
You think it'd be worse?
I'd probably be dead. I wouldn't be around because of gun laws. Dude, the way guns are just everywhere in America.
Fucked. I know. Did you feel scared when we were there?
Yes, 100%.
Especially because as an Australian, like it's even more safe than Canada is. For us, at least, like there's gun violence though.
Yeah.
Because like guns can easily get in.
Yeah.
But like you guys, no chance.
We have no guns here. Yeah. The only people that have guns here are bikies and stuff.
Oh really?
Like gangs, you know.
Oh, but like it's like really expensive to get one, I think.
Yeah,
right?
it's underworld
so it's
stuff.
Yeah.
If someone gets a gun and shoots you, they really wanted to kill you, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's like
right. So it was a huge culture shock for you going to the US then.
Yeah. Everything was a culture shock. There was just so many people there compared to here. Everything was competitive. Everybody was hustling on a level that I was like, what the hell is this?
I know.
I'll be walking. I was in LA and I'll be walking down like Sunset Boulevard to go to the comedy store or the Laugh Factory. And there is just teenagers on the traffic light with bottles of water just running up to cars trying to sell bottles, you know, and they see me walking past. You want to buy a bottle?
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's hustling, man. Otherwise you starve there.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why there's so much homeless people.
Dude.
They crush in homeless people.
Oh, yeah, LA, yeah.
Oh, man. Everywhere, New York is fucked,
New York
too.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of places, man.
Apparently, LA is like where they go to end the migration of homelessness.
Pretty much. Well, because it's so nice. It's nice weather, so they just sleep on the beach.
Yeah, I didn't feel safe like walking around LA. Like when I had my watch and you know, you don't look like I didn't want to dress up and stuff.
You can't. Over here, it's like I'll walk around with like watch, necklace.
Yeah.
No one's gonna come up to me.
There you feel it. Like they're gonna chop your arm.
I'm actually nervous. Yeah.
And the guns, they got guns there.
I know.
You know?
It's like you can't.
So just an easy mugging could turn into you getting shot up.
It's wild, man.
I had a crazy moment where I was on the Hollywood bus tour, and you know, there was the guy, the driver who was the tour guide. He was yelling out everyone's name, and I was traveling by myself. So this is true story, you know, and I do use it on stage, but this is true story how it happened, where the bus dropped us off at Santa Monica Boulevard. Now everyone's coupled up except me, and he's yelling everyone, Joe from Australia, blah, 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 yeah, present. And he's like, all right, drops us off at Santa Monica Boulevard. I'm by myself walking around. He's like, you guys have half an hour. So I'm walking around, and then two ladies come up to me, two elderly ladies, and they're like, are you Joe from Australia? And I was like, you know, like it's kind of a big deal, yeah? If someone to recognize you like on the other side of the world. So I was like, yeah, it's me. And I was taken back thinking like, you know, like I was the shit. I was like, yeah, it's me. I go, yeah, you've seen my work in Australia, yeah? And they're like, no, we're on the same tour bus and you're making us late. Right. And I go, humble. Oh, sorry. I go, yeah, let's go. And then when we were walking, I explained to them what I had thought. And then they started laughing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use that. I'm going to tell this story at a comedy show one day. And they're like, oh, remember us? And we took a selfie and all that. So it's like I had that happen to me.
That's funny.
And then I got recognized, like honestly recognized. Really? Yeah, I was walking down Sunset Boulevard and this Ethiopian guy goes, Talahun, right?
Oh, wow. Really?
And I panicked because I'm like, who the hell knows me by my government name?
Yeah, you're Govy.
Yeah, I looked up and he goes, hey. And I was like, hey, guy. At the time I was on Tinder, you know.
Swiping away.
Yeah, just swiping, just, you know, Latinos on Tinder.
Oh, man. That must have felt good.
Which one?
Like the guy who recognized you?
Dude, it's hectic.
Pretty cool, right?
I looked up and I was like, nervous face. Hey. And he goes, I go, hey, good to see you. And he goes, you don't know me. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes,
you thought it was someone you knew?
Yeah.
Because that's never happened to you, right?
It's never happened to me. And he's Ethiopian,
right? So you thought like he's a family member.
I thought maybe he's working for my mom, keeping an eye on me. I don't know. You know how it is. Parents are always trying to keep an eye on you. And I go, oh, hey. He goes, oh, I'm from Sweden. I watch you on TikTok.
What?
And I was like, no. In my head, I'm like, no way.
Wait, when was this?
2012, 2022.
Oh, so this was recent.
Yeah.
Oh, this is after the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's 'cause you mentioned TikTok. Yeah.
And yeah, he goes, and then one of the bit about my name that went viral, and so it's like my real name is Talahun, it's not Joe White, and so that's why he's like Talahun, yeah.
True.
And he goes, oh, my sister, she's a big fan of your work. She's got a liquor shop down the road. Can you come and say hello? I was like, yeah, all right, let's go. We went, said hello.
Oh, that's cool.
They gave me a drink, and then I walked, went on my way.
To swipe on more Tinder.
Yeah. And then another time while I was in America, I was in San Diego at a club called Q Park or something.
Okay.
And I was with these 2 Irish backpackers as well. And, you know, we'll go up and we'll try to talk to some girls and no one's interested in us, you know. And then I saw Ethiopian girls and I went, oh, let's go talk to those girls. I got this, you know. The 2 Irish guys, stay behind me, don't worry. And I'm walking up these 2 Ethiopian girls and I was like, hey, what's up, you know. It's like dancing with her and she was like, oh, hey. And she just kept dancing. And then I looked to my left. Her sister just grabs me and she turns me around. She goes, are you Joe White?
No way.
I swear to God.
What?
Yeah. I go, yeah. I go, I thought I'd committed a crime. I go, yeah, why?
Do you also know my mom?
She goes, I follow you on Instagram.
Oh.
She goes, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in Australia.
Yeah.
Are you? I go, yeah, I'm touring. And she goes, oh, I'm visiting from Ethiopia. What? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And she goes, that's my sister. And I went, oh, all right, sorry. I just went professional.
Oh
sorry.
yeah, my bad, man.
Ladies and gents, I'm just going to step back and let these 2 Irish people just do the thing.
Right.
And so I just pulled back. I was like, just keep it professional.
That's funny. Did you run into any Persians when you were in LA?
No. Oh.
There's plenty of Persians there.
I didn't run into Persians, but I hanged out with Max.
Right, because you've opened for all the fucking Persian comedians.
Yeah.
More than I have.
Yeah, well, you know what that says.
Yeah,
I must be really funny because I'm not Persian.
Yeah, that's true. You're Ethiopian and still Persian.
No, I feel like I'm quite Persian myself in some ways since I've worked with the Persian community.
Yeah, you love the Persian community.
So I do, man.
Yeah, and they love you back.
I love most of them except one of them. Right?
Who?
Well, I don't want to say because I'm on his podcast, but no. The Persian community is cool.
Right.
But yeah, I was hanging out with one Persian guy there. Ali was his name. And he was cool. He took me to a fancy restaurant. We ate.
Yeah, some kebab, some kubide.
Some what?
Some kubide.
Yeah.
No,
it was an Italian restaurant.
Oh, Italian.
Yeah.
What a disgrace.
I know.
How's a Persian guy in LA going to take you to an Italian restaurant?
Well, to be fair, we like as soon as I met him, we only had half a day before he had to fly out.
Oh, okay.
So we hanged out for a bit. But
you mean hung out?
Like we I think we went to a Maximini show at the Laugh Factory, and then the next day we went and grabbed something to eat. Lunch.
No, I'm saying you fucked up the word hanged out.
What do you mean?
You're supposed to say hung out.
We hung out, yeah.
Yeah, you said hanged out.
Do you
That's
not
the
say
wrong way to say it.
But that's past tense, hanged out.
No, hung out.
Bullshit.
I swear to God. Right? It's hung out.
You don't say hanged out?
No, that's wrong English.
You say hung out?
It's hung out.
It's hanged out.
Nope, absolutely not. You say, oh, let's hang out. You won't say we hanged out. That sounds like you're in grade 2.
Dude, are you serious?
You've been saying this whole time?
I'm 38. I've been saying hanged out.
That's hilarious.
This is the worst podcast I've ever done.
Yeah, good to try. Anyway, you learn something new every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, you sound like my missus.
I am your missus.
What's another word that I say that she corrects me at? I go to her. I said closes. And she goes, yeah. Like, I need to wash my clothes.
What?
And she goes to me, your what? I said clothes. And she goes, what are you talking about? I'm going to correct you because in case you do an interview on telly and I don't want you to say this because this will embarrass us.
Yeah.
It's clothes. I was like, what?
I fully agree with that.
Clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now I'm like, but now I focus so much on it, what I'm about to say it, that I go, babe, I'm going to wash my clothes. And she goes, you're an idiot. And then Emo corrected me when I said, how many months are there in a, and he goes, stop right there.
Yeah.
What?
Months?
How many months are there in, he goes, it's months. How many months?
Months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, again, because I focus on it,
Right.
and I go, Ima, how many months do you think are there? And he just goes, fuck, I'm out of here.
Yeah. You should be called Ethiopian still not educated. That's
Dude,
what
but how many languages you speak?
2.
That's it?
Kind of 3.
I speak English, Amharic,
Wait,
Tigrinya.
whoa. What the fuck's Amharic?
Amharic,
You can just
Tigrinya,
make up languages.
Tigrinya.
Okay,
Arabic.
you're making up shit.
4 languages.
This guy said Amharic, Tigrinya,
Yeah.
and some well, you can make up words.
Well, I thought you were a well-traveled Persian man. Amharic is the language spoken by Ethiopians. So
Yeah,
it's,
I knew that.
obviously you didn't know that.
I did. I was just busting your balls. I was taking the piece,
Bullshit.
mate. I was taking
Listen,
the piece.
You don't have to flex. I know how low your
I'm
IQ
taking
is.
the piece, mate.
We know how low your IQ is, so relax. And then Tigrinya is also spoken in Ethiopia, but it's in the Tigray region.
Oh, so it's like a different dialect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not different dialect, different language.
Oh, completely different language.
Completely different language.
So like people who speak Tigrinya.
Ethiopia, I think from what I read, has over 400 different dialects.
What?
Yeah.
How's that
different
possible?
Well, you know, it just is.
Wait, so
It's where civilization started, they say.
so people who speak Tigrinya, whatever you said, and Amhara, right?
Amharic.
Amharic,
Yeah.
they can't understand each other.
Well, the Tigrinya, some people who speak Tigrinya can speak Amharic as well. And most people.
Oh, okay.
Most people who speak Amharic speak Tigrinya as well. But
So-
also, the 33% of the population in Ethiopia they speak, they're of Oromo descent. Oromo descent. I don't know if descent is the correct word.
Oromo?
They're known as the Oromo people, right? So that's another tribe, the Oromo tribe. Then you have the Tigray tribe. Then you have the Amhara tribe, and then you have Wollo tribe. You have all these Afar, all these
Habesha?
different cultural groups, and they all speak different languages, but they're all Ethiopians. We even have Somalian Ethiopians.
Right, I know.
We even have South Sudanese Ethiopians because of how big Ethiopia is and it's neighboring all these
Yeah,
countries.
it's all mixed together,
Yeah.
and you all have big foreheads.
This fucking guy.
That's interesting. So, tell me about like how you got to open for all these Persian comedians. How did that even start?
It started with Ali.
Who's Ali?
Ali is he's a promoter who runs DP Entertainment.
Okay.
When I was the way I met Ali, again, when I was in banking and doing comedy, right? I was working with this Persian girl, and her name was Chanel.
What?
Sweetheart, Chanel.
Chanel?
Yeah, Chanel.
Definitely not Chanel.
Huh?
Can't be Chanel. That's
Why?
not a Persian name.
It's not a Persian name.
No.
That was her name. man.
Shahnaz, or maybe you're like
Which one?
Shahnaz, or Shahzad.
How do you pronounce Chanel with a Persian accent?
Chanel.
Chanel.
Yeah, but like
Well, there
it's
you
definitely a fucking westernized version. Probably.
You reckon? Maybe.
100%. No one's naming their Persian daughter Chanel.
Well, look, Joe White is not my real name,
That's
so
true. Yeah,
maybe
it's
she was running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tehran said to change it to Joe, not White.
That's a good one.
So yeah, I was working with her, and she said, "Oh, Joe, I'm gonna go watch this comedian." This is when I was doing comedy on the side. She goes, "I'm gonna go watch this big Persian comedian. You should open for him." And I looked at his following; he had like 500,000 followers, and I was like, "This guy won't even respond to my messages, But she's like, "You should open for him. The Persians would love you." And I looked into it, and I looked into his social media following and all that, and I sat on it probably for about 2 days, and then I went, "Okay, why would he let me open for him? Who am I? Like, I have to offer value. Otherwise, this guy's not going to want me to open for him. I can't just ask. You can't just ask for things. So entitled people who just ask for things and not offer value, So I was reading the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it says in there, if you offer value, there's no reason why the person shouldn't do a business deal with you. So I messaged Maz and I said, Maz, my name is Joe White. I'm a comedian/banker in Perth, Australia. If you say I'm a comedian, you might not get the respect you deserve, So I put banker in there so they know I got brain cells. Like, I'm actually a little bit smarter,
Yeah.
So I put comedian banker, and I said, I've got a following in Perth and I can sell 100 tickets for you. And if you do the maths, 100 tickets is probably like $5.5 grand worth of tickets, right? And Maz goes, "Hey, Joe, you can sell 100 tickets? I'll tell you what, I'll put you in touch with Ali." And I said, in return, I just want 5 minutes on your stage. I'll sell 100 tickets for you, $5.5 grand worth. I just want 5 minutes on your stage. Because in my head, I'm like, if I get 5 minutes in front of this 1,000 Persian crowd, maybe 1,000 of them will go, "We like this guy. We're going to go to his show. I'll make my money back," you know? And so he messaged Ali to hit me up. Ali took forever to hit me up. Didn't even hit me up. There's a week left before the show. And Chanel's like, "Just call Ali directly." And I was like, "Oh, nah. I'm sorry, maybe 2 weeks. Just call Ali directly." I was like, "Oh, no, I don't." It's after 7. She's like, "Persians never sleep. They work 24/7. I was like, "All right." So I called him. And he picked up and he's like, "Oh yeah, Maz told me, sorry, I was busy, blah, blah, blah. So you can sell 100 tickets. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How do you want to do this exchange?" You know, because he's probably going, "This dodgy guy, he just wants to take the tickets, right? I'll bring the money back." Next thing you know, go hand out the tickets or sell the tickets, make some money for himself. He didn't know, like, I was dead set on doing what I said I was going to do. And I said, "Okay, the way we'll do it is you meet me, you give me the tickets, I'll transfer the money, and then it's on me to sell them. And in return, I just want 5 minutes on your stage." And he goes, "Okay." We met up. I transferred $5.5 grand. He gives me the ticket. Yeah.
Jesus
$5.5
Christ.
grand. He
That's
gives me the ticket and he goes, "So stay in touch, huh? Let me know how you go." I was like, "Okay." And so I was like, "All right, I'll get to do 5 minutes. I just have to sell these tickets." He goes, "Yeah." Buddy, I called my buddies. I was like, "I'm going to give you 10. I'm going to give you 10. I'm going to give you 10. I just need you to invite 10 of your friends, sell them these tickets or give them out. I don't care. Just make sure there's bums on seats."
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you weren't even expecting to make the money.
Nah. So I sold maybe
shit.
about like 50, not even.
Oh, wow. Really?
Right?
But
Yeah.
you got that many people to come?
Yeah. There were people everywhere.
Wow.
And I didn't know. And I was like, I'm going to walk out and I'm going to find out if there is people there or not. But every person I gave a ticket to, I stressed to them. I said, "This is important. There has to be people there. This guy is hilarious. This ticket's worth $60-$70.
Oh,
I'm giving it to you for free. You have to come."
damn.
And the person's like, "You have my word. I'll come." And then when I gave 10 to my friends, I stressed to them the importance of someone being there. If they can sell the ticket, great. If they can't and they give it to the person has to come. And my friends are like, "Okay, we understand." Because I was operating on a different frequency and you can sense that. You can sense I'm focused, you know, and there's no bullshit.
Locked in.
Locked in, that's it. Who's going to carry the boat?
Who's going to sell these tickets?
I'm going to sell these tickets. And so Maz goes, Ali goes, "You sold the tickets?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay. There's people coming?" I go, "Yeah." And so him and Maz are talking like, this kid sold the tickets. So we just give him 5 minutes and that's all he wants. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's all I need is 5 minutes." And then showtime is about to come. It's about to happen. Maz goes, "Hey, we're doing 2 shows in Perth. Do you want to open both shows?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Instead of 5 minutes, can you do 15? I was like, "Yeah." So I did 15. And then they go, "Can you come to Adelaide and open in Adelaide as well?"
There you go.
I go, "Yeah." First show was in Adelaide, actually. I flew to Adelaide. They're like, "Can you open Adelaide as well?" I go, "Yeah." They're like, "Can you open Sydney, Brisbane?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I went to Adelaide. First show is in Adelaide. I'm in the green room in my suit and I'm waiting and there's like 800 Persians at the Adelaide Town Hall, right? And I'm sitting there and in my head, I'm thinking, have I bitten more than I can chew? Is this where I get laughed at and not with? Is this where 800 people plus Maz plus Ali look at me like, this kid's a bloody idiot? You know, he put himself in this water and now he's going to drown. Like, I'm like, is this what happens? Is this my fate? And then I said, "You know what? There's no turning back. I've been practicing. I'm just going to do what I've been practicing and then I'll deal with the outcome as it's given to me." This is the sink or swim moment in my career. Les Brown talks about sink or swim moment, and you'll find that you're a good swimmer when you put yourself in that position because you have no choice, right? So I was like, this is again, personal development, all that I practice is kicking in that moment, yeah? This is what I practiced. And then Maz comes in, hey, Joe, how are you? And I'm like, whoa, this guy is very bouncy, so energetic. Yes. And he sounds so American, you know, like it's Maz, you know. Oh, this is so cool. This guy's a celebrity. Yeah. And so I'm just looking at him like, oh. And he's like, all right, Joe, you've done this before? And yeah. And he goes, how long have you been doing comedy? I'm like, just over 2 years. But it was under 2 years. But I didn't want to scare him. Yeah. And so he goes, okay, look, when you go out, use this opening and then have fun.
What use this opening?
Like go out there and just say, hey, I'm married to a Persian lady. And then like, yeah, I'm lying, you know?
Oh,
and then it's like, and then have fun with them.
All right.
So I was like, okay. I went, did that. They laughed. And then I did my World Vision joke. Hey, you see me? I'm actually just like Maz. I'm a bit of a celebrity. You see me on TV. And they're like, yeah. World Vision? Yeah. You look familiar. Have you written me a letter before? Come on. There's a picture of me on your fridge. Yeah. Right. And then I just went, okay, my mom's amazing. Material about my mom. And then, I go, okay, it's time to bring on the main man himself. And I look back and I can see Maz sticking his head out and Ali, and they're watching, right? I go, give it up for Maz Jorana. And he comes out and I go backstage and I'm like, and Ali is like, Maz was very proud. He said he did good.
Nice.
You know, he's like, this kid's great. And I was like, all right, thanks. And then I'm like, yes, you know? I'm funny. It works.
Yeah.
I can perform to Persian audiences. So when Perth came, Maz was like, yeah, this is your hometown. You've got like 100 people here coming to see you.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. So I don't know, but let's have a look, you know. We'll find out together.
Right.
We get out there and hello, everybody. Welcome. And it's packed with people. Did first show, second show. Then we go off to another state.
Beautiful.
I took a risk. And Maz came back. And I opened for him again. Max came. Maz and Max are friends. Mm-hmm. So then, and Ali was bringing Max. Me and Ali friendship, when Maz left, we're in Perth. So our friendship, developed. So when Max came, Ali's like, do you want to open? I said, yeah, but I can't sell 100 tickets. Like, I don't have that type of energy or money lying around. And Ali goes, don't worry about it. You just come. You're a great opener. And so then I opened for Max. And then Omid came. I opened for Omid.
Sick.
Yeah. But I built the relationships. That's what's more important for me, is the relationship.
Yeah.
And when I was opening for Omid, Sushi Mango saw me.
Oh.
Sushi Mango got me at the Opera House because they saw me at that bit.
Right. Oh, they were at the Omid Jalili show?
Yeah. That's how I met
Sushi Mango?
them. Yeah.
Wow, really?
At Palais Theatre.
Oh, wow.
And so they already saw me perform to over 2,000 people.
So they know.
So they know I can do the Opera House.
Yeah.
They know what my material is like.
Right.
They know what my charisma and style is like. And they're like, this
Similar.
kid. Yeah. So it's the relationship and the opportunities that come from those spaces is why I paid $5,500 to do that 5 minutes.
That's crazy. Yeah. It pays off though.
Dude, Maz, I was having dinner with him in Adelaide and Ali. And he goes, I tell people in LA about you when it comes to you taking a risk on yourself, transferring money
That's
much
great.
money to sell 100 tickets.
Amazing.
Because we didn't think you sold them all. I was like, yeah, I did it. and he's like, in fact, we were thinking of giving you your money back. And he goes, nah, just joking. I was like, damn.
That is the best shit ever because you took the risk.
Yeah.
You said the part about the value, about adding the value is something that I fucking care about a lot. We care about a lot.
Yeah.
Is like providing as much value for free as possible because you're going to get paid back tenfold.
Yeah.
You don't know when, but it'll work out eventually. But you also have to have a little belief as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of delusional belief, right?
Yeah.
Because who the fuck spends $5,500 to get a 5-minute spot?
Yeah.
No one's doing that. But that's what separates you from, most comedians in the world, right? Most people wouldn't do something like that. And that's what separates from greatness to just like mediocre.
Yeah.
And, you're not obviously the greatest comedian on earth, but.
Whoa. I'm going to be.
Yeah, maybe one day.
What a hater.
Not before me, though. Obviously I'm going to be the greatest before, and you and whoever you know.
You're going to be the greatest sandwich maker. Maybe
same as eater, bro. I'm not. I already have that title. No, but I really love that because you took a chance on yourself. You believed in the process, and it's not. There's no trick. There's no formula. It's just about like consistently putting in that effort to just put yourself in a position that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And taking the risk, and then look how much reward you got out of it.
Yeah.
It's not just that one. It's not that one show you got. You got all these other shows.
Yeah.
And all these connections.
Yeah. All these relationships.
All that moment was for all the rest of your career. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like about adding more of those moments throughout your career to keep stacking them up.
Yeah. And it's also, again, it comes down to the self-development that I did before I even got into comedy, because every single moment in my comedy career has had a moment where I need to either turn back, I need to make a decision, turn back or put this on the table, risk it, at a chance of going forward. For example, leaving my job, leaving my banking job to go to Canada, right? In that moment, it was like, okay, I can go away and come back after a year, but here's the thing. Self-development teaches if there is a safety net, if there is a bridge, you'll run back because things will get tough when you get there. Things will not go as you plan for them to go. And so instantly you're going to either self-sabotage because you know there's a safety net, you know there's a bridge, and you're going to run back. So burn that bridge so you can't run back. You have no choice. You have to make it or you perish, yeah? So self-development is like no safety nets.
I know.
Commit.
Yeah.
So there was that moment where self-development got me through it. The moment where I'm making that deal, $5.5 grand for 5 minutes. Again, for me, in that moment where I take a risk on myself and I take a chance on myself, a gamble, when I'm backstage in Adelaide, about to do the first spot, sink or swim moment, right? Put yourself in that position, you'll find that you're a good swimmer. Doing all these things, going here, going there, unknowingly just going into the unknown and trying to find my heaven. It's like what Les Brown said from before I was a comedian, which is the saying, and I keep remembering it, go where there's no path and leave a trail, right? If I had spoken to comedians about which path to take, they'll say, yeah, this is the path to take. Go down this path and that path. That's because they've taken it or have heard someone has taken it. But it might it might not be my path, you know? So what's the point? So I think the best thing I did was I went where there's no path. In every decision I've made, I went where there's no path and I just, created my own trail.
That's the best way to do it. You don't need gatekeepers.
No.
Create your own opportunities. That's why social media is so powerful.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
this exact reason. I heavily relate to this.
Social media is the best.
Because if I were to traditionally go down the path that most comics would talk about, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
They're always like, yo, you gotta fucking talk to this person. You gotta suck this guy's dick to get these spots. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta stay in this club. You gotta keep emailing. You gotta keep showing up every day. You gotta I'm like, man, why do I have to beg to show my talents when I know I deserve to be shown way quicker and to a broader audience? And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna create it for myself. And I don't know. It's just
you talked it, man. When I met you, when you came here to Perth and you had 2,000 followers and you were bombing every show you were. Remember?
I was only 2 years in at that time.
Well, no excuses. You were bombing.
I was very young. I was 22 years old.
One show you didn't even turn the mic on. Remember?
Oh yeah, fucking Ashley's show. Ashley talked about that on the last episode too. Fucking guy.
Dude,
we need your perspective of this story.
Whatever Ashley said was true.
It is
Neema
true.
bombed that show,
Yeah,
right?
it was terrible, bro.
And then,
the whole 5 minutes with the mic off.
And you fatter than what you are now. All right, you're fading away now. You're so
I know.
scary.
Tell him what you tell me off camera.
Yeah,
right
when
now.
he was greeting me downstairs, I was like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
What happened to Neema? You look like you've lost half of Neema.
Yeah.
Right. So it's great. But when I
get used to it, all right.
But when you came to Perth, when you first came to Perth, you were bombing, you were overweight, and you were sitting there and we were having breakfast, and I was, obviously talking to you from a brotherly perspective, and we were having yarns.
Vegemite. We're having Vegemite.
We're having Vegemite. We're talking all this stuff, and you were telling me, I'm going to go back to Canada, and I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be funnier. And I was like, okay, calm down. Right? And I'm going to release content. I'm going to blow up. You were saying all this, man. And, there was a certain certain vibration about you. And I was like, he's in his own zone. He's in his own world. And that's that familiar world for me, because when I was in my own world and I'm like, I'm going to make this happen,
you get it.
it's like you knew. It's just a matter of attracting it by doing what it is that you were going to do.
Facts.
And so you came back and blown up, half the weight. And I was like, man. And then you got up on stage and you absolutely bombed. I was like, he's still the same. And he's gonna, no, you did well.
To be fair, doing new material.
You did well. I was so proud, man. It's I
thanks,
couldn't
man.
believe it, you know?
I appreciate that.
Man, I love being around that type of energy.
Yeah.
I love being around people who say it and then go and make it happen.
It's the best, man. That's the only people I surround myself with. Otherwise, I can't stand people. I can't stand you. If you're not at least striving towards kind of being on the same wavelength, it's hard to be around, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it brings you down.
It's true.
It's like, like it's especially me being in Perth, you know, because doing the Perth, if you're listening to this, you know, Perth Fringe Festival, Adelaide Fringe Festival, right? These fringe festivals that happen in Australia, right? They're every day, right? There's like, you could do 6 sets in a night, which I've done. I've done over 107 sets in the past 2 months, right? You don't get that anywhere else in the world. In my whole career, I've never done that many sets in the span of 2 months. I've maybe done it in a year, right? Or 6 months. But anyway, doing these festivals and being around all these different comedians, you start to realize, especially at this stage where like, you know, you're starting to make something of yourself and you're actually like on a certain level, you're like, man, no wonder this person is never going to make it anywhere, because they're so bitter about things. They're very narrow-minded. They think traditionally like they were like when they're first starting doing comedy. They're 10 years in, they're still doing the same shit that they're doing when they're 1 year in, 2 years in, 3 years in. And it's like you actually are more hyper aware of those kind of thinking, and then it rubs off on you, and then you're like, well, I can't be around this, and that's why like I don't want to hang out with anybody, because most people aren't this way. Where like they're like I'm not trying to big my own self, but I'm just saying like
it's too late. You're already big.
Yeah.
physically.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like you have like, man, like I at some point I have to give myself credit. Because I'm like, I've been busting my ass making content all these years. It's not like I haven't done anything. I've obsessed over making content for years at this point. I'm doing all these shows.
Yeah,
so it's like no one's on this level. You know what I'm saying? And so it's that's why it's nice to be around other people who are at least, maybe they're not doing the exact same thing I'm doing, but on the same level of like thinking wise, right? Frequency.
Vibration.
And so it's like that shit actually matters. So anyway, all this to say, you know,
bro, you gotta stop taking mushrooms.
I wish, bro. I haven't taken any before.
Dude, that's spot on, man. Because you know, like you feed my energy and I feed yours, right?
Yeah.
If I'm constantly vibrating at a lower frequency than you, then I'm just taking from you, aren't I?
That's all it is, man.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Environment is very important. People think, oh, you can outweigh your environment. It's like you can't. You will get consumed by your environment, and so it's better to change it if you can't shift it. You know?
Yeah, it's like you remember you were there in Perth. I didn't come out one time to hang out with anybody. Not that you were going out and partying or anything like that either, but you know, it's like maybe a couple times I was there.
Oh no, not this time when you were
around.
this time around. No,
not at all, right?
This time around you were like way more focused. Last time you were here, you were like partying,
fucking do whatever.
You were doing Drake dance moves and shit. Yeah,
swiping on fucking Tinder, getting matches, matching with robots and bots and guys. You know what I'm saying? Like unintentionally.
So different now.
So different, right?
On
it's like
purpose,
now.
Don't lie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like that goes to show. It's like, well, you just have to change your priorities at some point.
Yeah.
If you want to make those changes, something has to change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who says it, but nothing changes if nothing changes. I think it's Tony Robbins or some shit. But
what? Nothing changes.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah.
Same with my weight.
Yeah.
How am I expecting to ever get to look like you even?
Bro,
if I don't change,
you'll never be black. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I could if I want. Yeah. If I stay in Australia long enough, go on the beaches and just tan.
You could
constantly,
do blackface.
I could do that. I could.
You could tan. No matter what happened, they'll just be, that's a fat black man.
That's it. And I'll start learning Amhara, whatever the fuck language you said. Amharic.
Yo, my parking's finished. I gotta go.
Don't worry, man. We still have it.
I'm gonna get $100 fine.
I'll ask you a couple more questions here. Because I want to talk about your mom real quick. That's why.
My mom's dope.
Yeah, I love your mom. Obviously,
well,
I love my mom. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It just sounded dirty the way you said it.
It's never like that. It's never
okay, good.
This isn't P Hub, okay?
Yeah.
This isn't Brazzers.
Yeah.
So, you know, because I love my mom a lot. We do, like, you know, we're very close. I know you're exactly like that too. How was she when you started to do comedy? Like when in your whole career, like is she super supportive? Does she even understand it?
You know, they say in our community, like mental health is not understood to the point where if someone's mentally struggling, they just go, oh, maybe you need to go to church and pray, or maybe you need to wash yourself in holy water. Oh, that person is crazy. Stay away from them, you know. I don't know this. But the truth is, when I was mentally struggling from just trying to work out how my life took this shift at 29, you know, I had my own property, I had a relationship, I had a career. All of a sudden, the relationship ended. I lost the property. I couldn't keep it anymore, so I had to sell the property. I hated my job, and I was not on good terms with my brothers, my sisters, and my friends. And I just didn't understand who I was anymore, you know, and I was struggling mentally. And so my mom, no matter what happened, she was always just even when I was fighting with her and we weren't seeing eye to eye, she was just constantly checking up on me saying, hey, my son, how are you? I know things will get better. You know, what are you doing? And she'll know that I wasn't happy, right? And so she was worried for my mental health. And so she would always call, be supportive. Whatever avenue I decided to pursue, she would always encourage me. I was like, I decided to study online to try and get a finance degree because the bank is going to pay for some of it so that I can get more promotion in the bank. And that's what the CEO suggested. And she'd go, that's a great idea. Yes, keep studying. Yes, finally, you know, it's going to be great. The bank is paying. So supportive. And then I'm telling her about all these great grades I'm getting. All of a sudden, I do stand-up comedy. I'm like, Mom, I'm doing stand-up comedy. And, you know, it's going great. And she's like, okay, but how is the studying? I'm like, yeah, the studying is going great. She goes, okay. And I just kept talking to her about this thing that I've discovered and the way I was talking about it and the way it was making me feel. She was like, oh, you sound so happy. Okay, focus on that one then, you know? You sound so happy. I was like, yeah, I am. And I focused on stand-up. Eventually, I had to drop studying. So then I just did stand-up. And then my mom, like I told her, I'm not studying anymore. I had to drop it to do stand-up. And she was so supportive, man. That's very rare. She was just like, okay, I understand. You have to do what you have to do. But you sound happy. And as long as you're happy, that's all that I care about. Even if I had to drop, when I dropped banking, she was like, as long as you're happy, that's all I care about. And then obviously she didn't know what stand-up was. She's like, you're on stage, you're making people laugh. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. So what are you talking about, you know? I'm like, oh, things. And then she came to the show and I'm pretending to be my mom, you know? Oh, my mom, you know, she was belting my sister. She went under the bed and it came out the other side. Oh, my mom, you know, she's a nervous driver. And I'll do her accents and stuff. Hello, my children, you know? And she was just, I'll look at her and she's laughing. She's got the tissue box, tears are running, you know? It's best. And afterwards, she was just like, I always knew you were going to be something to do with TV, you know? Very supportive, my mom. Wow. From the get-go, purely because she understood what stand-up did to my mental health. And that's very hard to understand in our community because when it comes to mental health and leaving a finance degree and a finance job to do stand-up comedy, that's very hard to understand in our community. But my mom worked out that mental health, her son's mental health, her son's well-being was way more important than her going to the community. My son, bank manager, my son, you know? Yeah. And I love that about her. Wow. She's always been like that. It's amazing. Us and her, you know? Yeah. And she just always had our back. So
that's the best, man.
So she's always been supportive. And now she's just a huge fan. People will want to take pictures with her because they hear about her. You know how it is with your mom as well, you know? Yeah,
exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling, man, honestly.
And how does your mom feel, you know, when people come up to her and they're just like,
they love it. My mom is, she's excited. She's so ecstatic. She literally calls me sometimes or texts me, oh my God, I went to the store today. This guy come, he take a picture. He say, I love your Stupid Dance Friday video. And I'm like, oh my God, like these people, like they want to take pictures with me. Like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah. How many of her friends are getting that?
Oh, fucking zero.
So your mom's a star.
They love it. They love the attention.
They love
it.
Low
key.
They love it. I came in the house and it was my mom and her friends And my mom's like, "Yes, my son is here." And her friends were like, "Hello, hello, hello." They just came from church. I'm like, hey, how are you? And she's like, "Yeah, I watch your comedy, but I don't like it when you make fun of your mom too much, you know." And I'm looking at my mom like, "Mom, do you?" And mom's like, "No." She's like, as soon as they left, she's like, "Don't worry about it. They're just jealous." Because their kids are not talking about them, and you know, they're not getting people coming up to them and taking pictures with them. Don't worry, you just keep doing, you know, whatever you need, you just keep doing.
Amazing.
You know, and I was like, it's great.
That's the best,
So
man.
it's like, you know, I love that. I love sharing stories about my mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's what you know, that's closest to you.
yeah.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
You know, you share stories, and it's like our parents, you know, immigrants in our culture, you know, in their upbringing and the way they've lived their life and the way they've been brought up. It's like you have to be quiet. You have to just like, "Hello, how are you? Yes, come this way. Cool, clean."
Reserved.
Very reserved,
Yeah.
you know? "Hello,
Tip
yes,"
top.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're very quiet. But like, if you catch them in private, they're like, dancing, having a good time, you know? And you're like, man,
Exactly.
they're like the life of the party. And so we give them the opportunity now to be stars.
I know. We're almost like they're living vicariously through us. Because they in another world, they wish they could do what we're doing,
Yeah.
but they love this equally as much
Yeah.
because they still get to, you know, live out that like kind of childlike expression that they've always wanted to do when they were kids. But, you know, through us, and they see not only us being happy, but they get to be happy as well.
Yeah.
And it's like nothing beats that.
And you get to hear it and see it in their voice when when you're just with them and they go, "Oh, this is my son. He's a comedian," you know? "Oh, he's comedy," my mom says. And the person goes, "What? He's comedy?" Okay, yeah, I'm a comedian. And the mom's like, "Yeah, it's very big here. Have a look." And she will show them my YouTube video with like less than 1,000 subscribers. Look at this video. This is him. And it's me doing a sketch of her going, "Hello." Oh, my God.
Well, but honestly, nothing beats that, man. Nothing beats seeing your mom and your parents, you know, and your family just loving it and enjoying it and like laughing with you. It's the best.
Yeah.
You're like, I always say I'm so grateful to have my mom also be so supportive. And, you know, my dad too, equally as much. He's just not on camera. But, you know, it's like, there's so many Persians too. There's just like Ethiopians where like most of the families that are like mine or like that are Persian or Ethiopian, they're more strict. They're not as like supportive on things like this.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful to have them
I bet.
specifically because I'm like, and then I know plenty of other Persian kids my age who like their parents like, "Yo, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, engineer, whatever, right? Or else you're fucking, what are you doing?" Like it's like a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
My parents are not like that at all, and your mom is not like that at all.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's just you and Omid in the family. There's two of you.
Yeah, it's just us.
And
Yeah,
none of you are lawyers, doctors, or engineers. You know?
not even close.
And your parents are still happy, smiling, and supporting.
They love it. They're like,
I went to a party, a Persian party, and there was like 70 people in there. Every single one, lawyer, doctor, engineer. And there was a couple in the corner, and everybody seemed a little bit distant from them. And I was like, "Oh, Ali, what do they do?" He's like, "Oh, they're dentist." They were looked down upon just because they were
even
like, "That's
dentists,
still doctor."
bro. I know, right?
Dude, my mom would be happy if any of us were
my God.
doctors of dental.
Now imagine it was me in there. Fucking, who's this fucking clown?
Yeah.
Right?
Comedian. Ugh. You'd be thrown out of the party.
100%.
But I
don't even want to go.
I love that, man. I love sharing stories about my mom's, you know, life as a single mom, as a mom who raised 6 kids in war-torn Sudan, protected us when we were homeless, no school education, can't read, can't write, somehow completed mountains of paperwork to bring us here to Australia. Sure, she guessed our ages because we're all like 0101, 1986, 0101, 1987, 0101, everyone's 0101. 6 of us, you know that, in our family?
What, your
Our
birth
date of birth,
certificate?
0101, different year. 0101, different year. Every single one of us.
Wait, but your birthday's on February...
No, now that I've been in Australia for many years, my mom goes, "I think your birthday is February 14. I'm like, "Valentine's Day?" She goes, "Yeah." I was like, "I would much have preferred that. Why do you put that?" She goes, "I don't know. We were rushing and we had to get out of the country."
That's crazy.
Swear to God. But that's very common because...
It's real. It's real.
Yeah, all my mates who are also refugees, they all have 0101 as well.
Oh,
it's just because the parents are too busy trying to keep you alive
Right, literally.
to care about the exact date of birth.
They
Because there's
can't
no
give a
birth
fuck.
certificate, none of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
in my comedy, I talk about all that. I talk about my mum's struggles. Even when we came here, the challenges she faced,
Yeah.
And so it's like, when I talk about it, I make jokes about it. I tell the truth, but then I change a little bit and I add a punchline.
As you should.
To make the audience laugh, But I've shared her story and she knows it and she hears it. She laughs and she sees the audience listening, laughing, clapping for her, wanting to take pictures with her, praising her. Then she feels that she's heard and she's seen and she hasn't suffered in silence. And so then she's like, she looks at me and she's like, thank you.
Nice.
And that is worth everything.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat that.
That's one of the best feelings probably in the world.
No one wants to suffer in silence.
No.
You know?
It's the feeling of being heard like that in such a fun way is a great feeling. Yeah. And that's what makes a lot of our comedy, like without that, I wouldn't even have a career. Right?
Yeah.
It's like
those family orientated stories.
Yeah, because
so real.
that's most of the material. At least I do.
Yeah.
It's like,
real
how else am I gonna
relatable?
It's relatable. And you too, right? It's like, how else are you wouldn't have a career if it weren't for your mom.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
You couldn't,
all these stories.
All that family stuff that you do is so relatable to people. You know, like
everybody.
And it's so true to you. Like you could never do material about girlfriend. You don't have any.
That's facts, though. I'm not even gonna try to fight.
You could do materials about eating sandwiches. You'd smash. You'd have lots of it.
Yo, that's so true. It's so sad. I wish I had stories about girlfriends.
See, we're so petty comedians. I took such a serious moment and twisted it so I can get a punchline. So I can.
Hey man, it is what it is. It's a podcast. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
This was fun.
But yeah, man.
If I get $100 fine, I'm splitting it with you, Neema, just so you know.
You're not getting it fine.
Well, I still owe you money for the gigs you did.
That's true, motherfucker. Yeah,
you're not careful.
Yeah, man. I guess we could just wrap it right there. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. And if you have anything to plug, please do it right now.
This
socials, shows coming up.
This podcast has been pretty average. No, it's been, Neema, you're my guy. It's been fun hanging out with you and chatting shit and picking your brains. I'm always, I'm super impressed at everything that you've accomplished. It's good to see someone go from like when they're small, from like nothing to massive. I don't even want to say nothing because you had a lot of roots. But just seeing you, grow and accomplish what you have, and then having your brother on your team supporting you and, your mom. And it's just, it's so good to see and be around. And in a way, I'm very proud to say, that NeemaNaz, he's my buddy. I've known him since blah, 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 blah. The guy is amazing. And, I'm very proud of that. So you've done well, man, and like sitting here with you, this is pretty cool. So thanks for having me.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No worries, man. Just bit of truth come in.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Get the hell away from it.
I can say the same thing about you, man. Yeah, honestly, I appreciate. You didn't have to let me do all those shows with you the first time I came in Perth, so I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, you were terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm still getting complaints.
All that
from people going, there hasn't been enough therapy to unsee that 5-minute set Neema did.
Garbage. But it was a good learning experience for me too, even though you were like pretty much the same level I was at the time, like in terms of years.
Yeah.
You're just way more ahead because of just simply your maturity, man.
Age difference.
Age difference,
I was
maturity.
30, you were like 20.
I was 20.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I was 23, 24.
Dude, baby.
Yeah. So, but I appreciate it, man. All the accommodation shit, all the hospitality, that shit does not go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And
I was like, you ate all the food we had.
I did eat a lot.
You took up 1.5 rooms.
You fucking blackmailed me with a fucking picture of me sleeping.
I've got a picture of him sleeping in a mankini. I'm going to use that against you. But yeah, it's been fun. This has been fun. I'm glad we were able to sit here and recap on everything that's happened.
Yeah, man.
This has been fun.
We'll do it again, man. And plug anything you have for the viewers who are watching. If you have any shows coming up, what you've been working on, social media. Man. There's always shows coming up. Best way to find me is if you go to my Instagram, Joe White _official, or just joewhitecomedian.com. And yeah, I post every day and I tell you where I'm at, what I'm doing. Best way to stay in touch is definitely through my online work. Instagram, baby. You say the handle?
Joe White _official. I did already.
Sorry, did you say it one more time?
One more time for the people in the back.
For the people in the back.
Joe White _official, and then Facebook Joe White Comedy, X Joe White Comedy with a K. Yeah.
So many different variations.
Joe White Comedy on YouTube, you know. And then Joe White _official on TikTok. What else?
And then Tilahun in real life.
And then
Tilahun.
what else am I on?
I think
that's it.
Brazzers?
ChocolateLovers.com.
Yeah.
Joe White /
right.
comedian.
Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough. Cut this mic.
Cut this mic. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this. I appreciate you guys listening on Spotify or Apple Music as well. This has been A Stupid Neema. This has been Joe White. And we'll see you on the next episode of A Stupid Neema. Take care. Have a great day. Peace.
Peace.